How about that awesome intro I did earlier? Hey, my name is Michael. This is Charles. Let's go. Charles is a member in the Discord. Charles, can you hear me, bro?
I can hear you loud and clear.
You can hear me loud and clear. So Charles is in the Discord community. How's the Discord been, homie? Exactly.
Do I explain that to someone outside of the Discord or to you?
So what is it like? Was the Discord everything that you expected it to be? Is it more transformative, or like what do you think about it being in the community and the life guide and everything? What do you think about all the stuff?
I've done a lot of things in my life in terms of personal development, working on my consciousness, my physiology, my body. I used to be a professional athlete. Nothing comes close to the guide as a system for more consciousness, more energy, more life. And then there's the Discord community, which is like jumper cables. The Discord community is like, yeah.
No, go
jumper
ahead,
cables
go ahead.
to
I
the
don't want to
soul.
interrupt that. That sounds great. Go ahead.
Yeah, the guide, it like gives you this complete system for more consciousness, more energy, more awareness, more life, more success. And then the Discord community, for those of you who don't know, is like putting jumper cables to your soul and your spirit, and you actually see what life is about. And I'd love for you to share about the harmonic state, because I can carry on for days, but I think you've got a deeper understanding than I do. But totally. Since I've experienced it, life has just opened up in every single aspect of my life.
My heart is so happy hearing this. So I was not aware that you were a professional athlete. What sport did you play, or like what was your field?
Mixed martial arts.
What a badass, dude. I freaking love you. That's so cool. So do you think that this life and the guide would have helped you when you were going into your field of, athleticism and everything else, striking, awareness, perception, precognition? Do you think the guide would have supercharged you applying it back then?
Yeah, I mean, being on the guide for a relatively short time, I am 43 years old now, and I'm in better shape physically than I was when I was a professional athlete at 28 years old, right?
Yeah, let's go, baby. That's what I'm freaking talking about.
Without working out, as you know, as it is suggested in the guide. But to answer your question, I think I would have been unstoppable with the level of awareness, consciousness, and physical capability and efficiency I'm experiencing right now in terms of energy output.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wild.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, for one, you're in better shape now at 43, right? You look great, man. You look so. I mean, 40 is not even old. Like 60 to me is like starting to get middle age, right? We have 120 years supposedly. So like you're not even middle age until you're like 60. But bro, you look like not like a kid, but you look so like exuberant and vibrant in your countenance and everything else. So it's like you're 43, but you're in better shape now at 43 than when you were 28 from the guide. And the guide says don't even work out. So you're in better shape not working out. You have greater perception, awareness, energy, and everything else from the guide, from not working out, than when you used to work out as an athlete, which you're saying you probably could like ran laps around your former self, your younger self. This is like, 15 years ago or so. So it's like, that's how powerful this is. And it's not about a program or a tactic. It's just about embodying what life actually is. And like you were saying, whenever you do, it's just like jumper cables, just powering your body. I feel unstoppable. I'm 37, so I'm on my way towards 40. And I haven't worked out in a little bit over 6 years, and my muscles have gotten bigger. My skin is more vibrant. It's more tight. I just have unlimited amounts of energy day after day after day. It's just like I can never be brought. There's so much. Like if I was an athlete, I feel like I would just not stop. I remember I was watching this show called on Netflix called Physical Asia. And they took teams from all over Asia and like the Oceania Pacific and stuff like that, and they pitted them against each other. And we would do some of the things that they would do. And these people, these athletes, these are athletes, so they're all respectable athletes in their field. Would get tired after some time, but we would just keep up with them, and I would be able to in a sense, exceed the athlete by going at a constant stamina rate. You know, endurance, stamina, two different things, but like my stamina is just high and I can keep a high stamina over a long duration of time. So I was seeing like same thing in myself. I am stronger and more energetic and more powerful now at 37 than whenever I was like 25. And whenever I was 25, I would run sometimes like 20 miles just to go run. You know, I mean, of course there was insecurity in there. I was trying to lose weight and all this other stuff. But ultimately now there was a day that when I got into all this that showed me, I was already only eating once every 12th day every 8th day. And it was my eating day, and I just had so much energy. I'm like, let me see if I should even eat. So I just went outside and started moving. So I started moving at around like 10 o'clock in the morning, so 10 a.m. I started moving just constantly, just like moving, animal movements, climbing, jumping, just moving. And I was looking for myself to see when I got tired. I did not stop moving until roughly like 10 o'clock at night or like around 11 p.m. And the only reason I stopped moving was because it was getting late. I'm like, I want to do something else. I'm bored now of moving so much. But I had a constant awareness of myself, and I never got tired. I was hanging out with, you know, I'm polyamorous in a sense. I have multiple lovers. So I was hanging out with like all my lovers and stuff like that. And like I would hang out with one, she'd move with me for a while and she'd get tired. And then another one would come, she'd move with me for a while, then she got tired. Then another one would come with me, we would go do stuff and stuff like that. And then she got tired. And it's just like all day, I just never got tired. And at that point then I said, okay, there's something to this, that we can harness energy from this atmosphere and this reality and live off of it. It's a conscious engagement to do it. It's not like, all right, Mikey, tell me what to do. How do I do this? Well, it's not a step-by-step tutorial. It's more of a cleansing yourself and removing things that are limiting you and blocking you so you can come into the awareness of, so you can plug in it that way. I can't directly tell people like, okay, this is what you do to do it. I have to put them in the realm so they become familiar with it. And then, okay, cool. Once you're open enough, then you can plug into that. And then there's deeper levels to it. Since then, personally, my eyes have changed colors. My head has grown, have like this bulge coming out of the back of my head. This is a crazy thing. My muscles have gotten bigger. I weighed myself today. I was like 215 something pounds. When previously on the guide, I was 203. So I've gained weight. I've gained muscle. So, I mean, it's a lot, man. There's a whole different world out there. And I'm glad that you are also experiencing it. Because people are like, okay, cool, Mikey. That's cool for you. Yeah. But that's cool for you. You experience this. But like, what about the other people? I'm like, bro, no. Everybody who does this life is experiencing the same thing. It's not just me. And they all have results. I had a member in the Discord. He owns a Brazilian jiu-jitsu gym. And he's undefeated for the past 3 years. So he holds gold undefeated for 3 years in BJJ. I had him do the same thing, stop working out and everything. His muscles grew. He had more energy. He became so defined and like shredded that people are like, bro, are you on steroids or test or something like that? He's like, no, I'm just following the guide. So it's happened for people, men, women, young, older, all around the world. So it's beautiful to see that this is the way of life. It's not just me or Charles, but anybody who inhabits this way has these same effects. So it's very beautiful. And that's the harmonic state.
And I'd like to get into the harmonic state, but Mikey, I just want to add, you know, we spoke about physical energy, physical results, like the body being the receipt of your consciousness, but it's not just the aesthetics. I mean, my business I didn't even start the guide. I just got the guide and opportunities started rolling in. Like I cannot even tell you all the opportunities that have started rolling in, relationships, improving, communication has gotten clearer. My mood, my attitude, I'm always happy. There's not this anymore. I used to get fatigue at like 2 p.m., 3 p.m. during the day. Now it's just limitless energy until I decide I want to go to sleep. So it's a complete life system. So I'd love for you to describe the harmonic state to the audience. Like what is the harmonic state? Because harmony, the word harmony is in there. Tell the audience about the harmonic state, what that is.
Totally, man. Well, first off, congratulations on everything. When we have people come into the guide and the Discord, everything changes. People are like, okay, well, what should I expect? I'm like, I couldn't tell you because words can't describe what you're about to experience. You're about to have more wealth, more success, better health, better energy. You're going to have better relationship with your spouse, your partner, or even your business partners, even the people around you. And as you experience this life, literally everything is affected. I call it the life guide because it affects every single part of your life. A lot of people come to the guide because they want to either lose weight or gain muscles or learn how to fast or something like that. But it's not even about any of those things. It's about truly living the fullest expanse of life. And life is every single topic. It's health, wealth, relationships. It's your emotions. It's everything. It's your day to day. And like you said, in the same way, now you have so much energy, you just decide to go to sleep. Like, it's not that you go to sleep because you're tired. Just like, okay, I'm just going to go to sleep now because you just have so much and so much excess. So that's because of the harmonic state. And like, what is the harmonic state exactly, right? It's a cool little term, like, but what is it? So harmonic, right? Harmony means that these things coincide or correlate with each other or in relationship with each other or can collaborate with each other. So the best way to describe this is musical strings. If you hit a certain string on a guitar or a piano or something like that, something that resonates with it or that's in harmony with it will also start to vibrate. These things vibrating at the same tone or the same frequency or relative frequencies, they can coincide with each other to have an effect in reality. When you come into harmony with what this realm or this frequency actually is, you start vibrating in that same rate, and that rate emits life from you. When that life is emitted from you, it affects everything else around you. When that event, that relationship or partnership is touched by the frequency of that emittance, then it starts to vibrate at the same key and it reflects back to you. So now when you reflect this, vibrate this life, it goes out into whatever activity you're about to engage in. It beats you there. It goes ahead of you. It starts to shape it and influence. It makes it harmonic with you. So whenever you enter it, you can coincide with it. Now there's no more argument. Now there's no more stress. Now there's no more enmity or just disgruntlement. Now it's just that energy from you living life has gone out so far beyond you. It makes everything harmonic with you by being in the harmonic state. And now everywhere you go is like heaven on earth because everything is just correlating, vibrating in the same key, and everything is just so enlightening. You get in this harmonic state by making sure that nothing is taking from you. Detrimental things, chemicals, colognes, makeup, soaps, detergents, processed stuff, pretty much anything man-made for the most part. If man-made stuff enters your life in every single arena, in what you hear and what you smell and what you see and what you absorb or eat or taste or whatever, it's going to cause distortion in your life. That distortion kicks you out of harmony. It makes you inharmonious. So now you're living a very disgruntled life. Now you're living a very distorted life. And now it's always fighting and bickering and backbiting. It's like, oh man, like you're just hitting the wall and like nothing's working. Every time you try, things don't even work. And it's just like, man, I'm trying everything. Well, that's because it's not about trying. It's about operating from a certain state. Everything comes from the state that you operate in. So you can try your ass off and do whatever you want to do, but if you're not in the harmonic state, you're going to have to struggle to even get there. But when you enter in the harmonic state, you vibrate at that certain rate, and it makes everything so effortless. It's not about will. That's why I tell people come to me and they see me like, oh man, you must have so much discipline. You must have so much willpower. You must have so much motivation and drive. And it's like, no, I'm the opposite, bro. I'm lazy. I want the smoothest path in a sense. If I said this, people would get offended at me, especially like the die hard, work hards. But I want an easy life. You know, we've been programmed to believe that life needs to be hard. So if people say like, oh, he wants the easy life, oh, he must be weak. Oh, he must be not a man, because people have been so programmed by propaganda that they have to struggle for something, even when they can have the same thing without struggle. Like, why would I want to struggle for something to obtain something when I can get it harmoniously and I can have all this energy left over to where I can enjoy it? Duh, that just makes way more sense. So me, myself, I want the most efficient path, the most optimized path where I'm left with energy at the end of it so I can enjoy it. I don't want to get rich whenever I'm old, and this is always a desire of mine. I don't want to get rich when I'm old, so therefore I've already lived my whole life and I can't even have the energy to enjoy it. I don't want to work and get all this stuff, and then by the time I finally reach a point to where I can enjoy it, I have like 3 years left in my life, or I can't even move to, you know, I'm in the car. I got the car I always wanted, but now if I turn too hard, I can crick my neck and like be in a neck brace for a month because my body's so decrepit. I want to live the most harmonious life possible and have things come the most in the optimized manner to where I can have enough energy left over to truly consciously enjoy or extract enjoyment from the thing I'm engaging in. And you do that by clearing your environment of toxins, adding in compounds that are of the same geometric frequency that you're made of, to where you can hum and you can vibrate at that certain frequency. So then all of your life is affected by it. So that's the harmonic state, what it is. Now it affects your mind, the way you perceive, your emotions, the way that you emote and the way that you feel. It affects your environment and your surroundings, the air you breathe, what you eat and stuff like that. So whenever you optimize all these different factors of life, it automatically brings you into the harmonic state, and then you live from it. In the harmonic state, you have all this extra energy. That energy can be gathered and harnessed and then directed towards your cognitive functions. So now you can see how to be more successful. Now you can see how to be more loving. Now you can see how to be whatever you want to be. Now nothing's impossible. Now the probability or the possibility of anything is really at your fingertips. Like, what do you want to be? If you would have this power back when you were, a mixed martial arts athlete, you probably would have been undefeated for like forever, in a sense. You could have been whatever you want, and you can do that now, and I can do that now, and these people can do that now. So it's really, and I say this when people get the guide and they start applying. I'm like, you are now living the first day of what life actually is. Now you can actually have fun. So that's kind of what the harmonic state is and what it does.
Yeah, Mikey, thank you. That's a beautiful explanation of the harmonic state. You mentioned something that resonated, harmonied within me. You said heaven on earth. And I think once you're on the guide and you're in the Discord community, you truly start understanding what that means. And not from a religious standpoint, but there's a scripture that says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and all these things will be added unto you. And in the guide, you say, don't have goals. And I've let go of all my goals, but now things are flooding in. Opportunities, more money, gifts, holidays, better relationships, more energy, more consciousness, because the focus is just on that inner harmonic state, the heavenly state, life itself, consciousness, energy. Would you like to expand on that? And also, what blocks people from accessing that, from actually loving themselves? And actually experiencing this heavenly state.
Charles, you're amazing, man. I love these questions, these prompts, and everything else. Yes, you're exactly right. First off, having no goals, and people think that's crazy. Like, again, we have been so brainwashed to be so driven and so forceful and have so much willpower and just drive and go and strive and grit our teeth, and it has to be hard. It's like, oh, I gotta have goals. To where whenever I tell people don't have goals, they're like, you can see smoke coming out of theirs. They've never even thought about not having goals. They thought like some of the crazy things of this is like they've never even contemplated not having a goal. People may not even have goals, but you could tell they've never thought about like purposely not having a goal. I'm going to go in this without any goals. I'm going to do this without having a goal. Yeah. Okay, New Year's. What happens? Goals. Okay, New Year's. My goal is to have no goals this year. And you can tell they've never even thought about this. So it's a very new concept for them, because when you have a goal, it actually stands in your way and it limits you to like you're saying, like when you enter this harmonic life, you are literally living heaven on earth. You are the most favored person in the room. Everybody loves you. Like it's a different life, man. Like if you guys have seen if you guys could go into my Instagram messages, if you can go into my day to day, if you can see what people send me and gift me and all this, it's almost like people would think that this is like a movie. Like, oh, wait, nah, that's unrealistic. You can't live that type of life. That's only in the movies and all this other stuff. Like, no, this is real life, and the longer you embody and occupy this harmonic state, the bigger and more beautiful and the more gracious it gets. The more love, the more wealth, the more peace, the more health, the more energy, everything, and it begets itself. When you operate in this state, you get more energy, which gives you more energy. And then you having more energy gives you more energy. So it's almost like a positive feedback loop of expansion. This is living and bringing and ushering in true heaven on earth. I mean heaven, like not as like you were saying, not as like a religious thing, but like as a utopia of pleasure, of euphoria, of opulence. It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter your parents. It doesn't matter your last name. You don't have to come from royalty. You don't have to like try to sneak into heaven or be religious or pray to the right God. It's simply ushering in total bliss and elation, because you have so much excess energy that you can occupy this state. And from occupying the state, it affects everything around you and brings it into harmony and peace and love. Now, whenever you do this, you finally see like, bro, if I would have had a goal, my goal would not be better than what I'm receiving. Like, this is better. I could have never even perceived this to be a goal because it's even better than what I wanted. You always get better than expected. But some things that kick people out of it, one, they don't even know it. So you're not going to get into this unless you already know what it is, because it's not like it's not necessarily a passive thing. The harmonic state puts you in position to start engaging in this heaven on earth and like this type of experience, but you have to actively engage with it. The only goal is to be conscious. That's the only, if there was to ever to be a goal, it is to be coherent of what's actually going on. Some people call it presence, but I say it's a little bit different than being present. You're actually interpreting in real time what's going on. You're not just trying to be here and look around. Okay, I'm here, I'm present. No, I'm not saying get off your phone. No, I'm not saying don't doom scroll. You can do anything you want and do this. You can doom scroll if you want to. You can be playing video games. You can do this in any state, but you have to engage cognitively with the correct interpretation of all things. So if you have a twig or a quirk or something like that, like, why did I do that? Where was that coming from? And you can question and not interrogate, but analyze and actualize why you do what you do and extract the proper interpretation of that thing. And it'll give you deeper awareness and understanding of yourself. A lot of people don't enter this state because they don't know themselves. So what kicks them out is them not knowing themselves, because they'll automatically self-sabotage. Man, everything's going too good, so this must be too good to be true. So something bad must happen. Bam, they get kicked out. Oh, I just got a promotion. That means, oh man, I got a promotion. Well, how long can this last? Bam, they get fired. Oh man, it's been good for too long. Well, how long can it really be this good? And there's so many ways of self-sabotage and everything else. So one of the main things, besides just not knowing about this even existing, is them self-sabotaging, them not knowing themselves. Anybody who doesn't know themselves will automatically be kicked out of the state, because you have to come into full compliance and full understanding of what you are to embody this, because you have different centers and engines in your body. The heart is an engine, it's driving. The liver is an engine, it's driving. The gallbladder, the spleen, the kidneys, everything else. When you come into the fullest capacity of all these different channels, all these different drivers, all these different engines through your body, you can fill them with energy. And when they're filling with energy, then your heart coherence is more effective. Then your liver coherence is more effective. Your brain, your eyes, your kidney, and everything else. And then all of your drivers start working simultaneously, harmoniously. And then it creates this experience of blessings, of wealth, of health, of satisfaction. There's a lot of people out there who are rich, but they're not satisfied. There's a lot of people who have a relationship or a partner and they're not satisfied. It's not about obtaining, it's about being able to derive satisfaction from everything you engage in. So you might even not want $1 billion. You might be happy with a smaller amount, but it's the satisfaction that's derived from it that you're actually seeking. So the harmonic state gives you the coherence, the awareness to even understand what you have, so you can get the fullness out of that. And when you complete this fullness, it expands into the next level of it. So once you're happy with this amount, guess what? You just automatically get a bigger amount, because more on more comes. And it brings you to the next level. You fulfill this level. Then you go into the next level. Then you fulfill that level. You go and it goes on continuously. And this, at that rate, in this process, or this or this lineage, or this sequence of a path, opens up the possibility, or at least the conversation, for near immortality. You stop aging as fast. You stop losing energy. You stop being tired. I sometimes stay up for like 3 days straight, and I just have so much energy. I just stay up. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll just meditate. And at that point, the only reason somebody dies or ceases to be with us is for two things. One, the main one is this: because of unawareness. If you knew you were going to die and you knew how to stop it, then you probably would. Or unless you hate yourself and like, no, I just want to go. Okay. If you don't have self-love, which is self-preservation, that's all self-love really means. I don't mean like mushy gushy, oh my God, look at me, I'm so cute. That's not self-love. Self-love is just simply wanting to preserve yourself, to continue the experience. If you don't have self-love, most likely a person has self-hate, and then they don't even care anyway. They don't even want to live forever. Well, one, they don't even know about the harmonic state to where life can be good. So even if they did live forever, they live outside the harmonic state, and that sucks. I've been there. I lived outside the harmonic state. You have. We all have. It's better to live in the harmonic state than live out of it. I understand why people wouldn't want to live forever if they don't even know about the harmonic state. But if you get in the harmonic state, it's like, oh, everything's so good. Why would I want this to end? So the main thing is unawareness. They don't know how to live forever, so therefore they just end up dying. Second, is this: they run out of energy, because life is three things: consciousness, energy, and regeneration, right? So if you miss any of those things, you're not sentient and you do not have life. You need consciousness, energy, and regeneration to actually live. These are the pillars of life that we talk about in the life guide. Like, you have to have these things. So everything is coinciding and focusing on those main pillars to keep these things strong and established. Well, if you run out of energy, guess what? You contract. When you have low energy, you're not standing up straight. When you have low energy, you're not expressive. I haven't eaten technically in like 200 and almost 90 days, but yet here I am just to the brim and just, this energy. Yeah, let's go. But when you don't have energy, what happens? You shrink, you contract, and you implode on yourself, and then you cease to exist. Well, if you have consciousness, that invites chaos, because then anything can happen. You can cross the street, get hit by a bus, something can fall on your head that you weren't aware of. But when you're consciousness, you have near precognition to where you can feel like, I don't think I should go there. You take one step back and bam, it falls right in front of you, or it just misses you, or you hear about that route you would have taken and then there was an accident. Other people, got manslaughtered from it or something like that. So you have those things: conscious, energy, and then regeneration. If you don't even know what you are, what this body is, then most likely you won't know how to continue the process, or at least like maintain it. And then your regeneration mechanism malfunctions, and you start to age and atrophy and wither. All those things implode a person on themselves too in their life. But when you fulfill your life, when you live life, it puts you into the harmonic state, which puts you in that driver's seat, and then you expand from it. So these are all main things. Unawareness will kick you out of the harmonic state, not knowing yourself, not having energy, not having consciousness, not having regeneration, and then most of all, not even knowing about it. But now that you guys do know about this, whether you get the guide or not, whether you join Charles or myself or join the Discord or whatever, you now know that it's out there. There are multiple people living this life. I am not the only person. And now you can actually do something about it. And that's where the power starts.
Mikey, thank you. Like you explained it so beautifully, because you've been in the harmonic state for so long. And I think many people have had glimpses. I'm thinking about myself. I've had glimpses in the last 15 years since starting personal development, doing a lot of dispenser work, mindset, blah, 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 all these things. Then you get glimpses of these things, and where life just happens in positive synchronicity, but then you get kicked out. And for me personally, because the whole personal development industry, it's all about mindset, but they never speak about the energy to maintain that state. And when I got into the guide, I've been feeling better than great, the best I've ever felt, consistently. And you mentioned something in the Discord community that when you feel good, that which you deem good gets drawn to you, right? So if you're constantly feeling good, then only good things keep coming to you, right? So what is it that keeps people, and you mentioned self-sabotage, right? And I know about self-love since coming on the guide. I thought I loved myself because it should just be obvious that we all love ourselves. But I'd like to hear your perspective of how can you see that someone actually doesn't love themselves in how they live, in how their body expresses the evidence, because our body is the receipt of our consciousness and our decisions in our life, right? Because the body can't lie. So would you love to, just go a little bit deeper on that?
Yeah, of course. I would love to. You said so many amazing things. And I actually want to start out with this story here of how I even became aware of a lot of this stuff. I remember that, okay, well, first off, the flow state, right? So I'm sure, like you're saying, like, man, people have had these moments of bliss or like euphoric epiphanies or whatever, and they've operated in something that's like almost like everything just went perfect. And whenever they did that, it's just like, whoa, what was that? I experienced the same thing. And I remember one time I went to my banker to go talk about constructing a new endeavor that I was venturing into and all this other stuff. So they have this whole system to where they can look up specific EIN numbers and VIN numbers and all this different stuff. And from that, they can derive either an evaluation of an acquisition or whatever the endeavor is, right? So I was with my banker, and this is my first time going to them for this specific need. And they pulled up their computer, and they pulled up a program, a file that to operate and see what the valuation of this thing is. And because I remembered the number associated with this specific thing, I knew like the 9 or 11 digit number, and as they're pulling up all these files from their Excel sheets, I saw like everything slowed down in real time. I saw the number. I see that it's there. I see what their estimation of or their evaluation was of that thing, and I beat my banker there. And I was actually nice, and I didn't want to interrupt what he was doing. But it took him about another 30 seconds to even find it. So I found out I was living 30 seconds in the future from operating in the specific state. And then once the banker finally got this, hey, I found it. And I told him all the details about it. I'm like, is it this, and this? He's like, yeah, how'd you know? And I'm like, well, I saw it. And he's like, man, he's like, I use this program every single day, or like at least, once a day. And how did you beat me there? Have you used this program before? I'm like, I've never used this program in my life. But it was a specific
You recognize patterns.
Exactly, yeah. So it's almost like a Lucy type of vibe where she has like super consciousness operating like, multiple functions of her brain, all this other stuff. And he's like, dude, it blew his mind. He was like, dude, that's impressive. And at that moment right there, I knew like, okay, I'm onto something. Like I can literally live moments into the future to always position myself in a sense to where I gain the most favor. And from that, I have gone on this endeavor to try to get as much energy as I possibly can to stay in that state so I can operate in it full time. Well, it takes a lot of energy to stay hyper aware and hyper focused. So I tried all these different things to, in a sense, stay in that flow state. And now it seems as if I've stayed in this state from the harmonic state in the flow state for about roughly 3 to 4 years now. And I've never come out of it. So whenever people see me like, man, this guy's different. What's going on with this dude? It's like, I'm in the flow state and I just never got out. It's usually like I can now, I'm not saying I'm a professional at whatever I do. I'm not going to pick it up and just, if I'm going to juggle like 3 glasses or something like that, I'm not going to say I'm going to be the perfect juggler the moment I get into it. But usually entering any field that I was unaware of previously, I can start out at a more advanced rate than my former self would be, or even an average person would be, a novice. So that's giving me a slight advantage in everything. But it wasn't necessarily for the advantage that I want to do this. It was because that there is more. It's not that I want to be better. I don't want to be better than my banker. I don't care. Like, let the guy do his job. I'm not going to be a banker. Why do I need to know his system? It doesn't matter. But what I saw was there's more out there in consciousness in this field than what I was aware of prior. So why not start engaging in this? Why not try to establish myself or install myself in this high degree of thought and awareness? And that's kind of where a lot of this stuff came from, along with health stuff and everything else. So in engaging in that, that's what showed me we need to get as much energy as we possibly can. So what's the best way to get energy? Well, remove the things that take energy from you, and then things that give energy to you, and the state and everything else. So now going back into what you were saying about, a lot of this stuff is like mental, but they don't talk about the energetic aspect of it and like staying happy to get what you want. Ultimately, everything is simply a reflection of whatever you engage in. So every second I stay bitter, I reflect that or emit that into the world, and that's what's given back to me. So everybody knows this now. It's pretty common. It's like, well, as a man thinketh, so is he. Think and grow rich. Name it, claim it, manifest it, feel it, believe it, all this other stuff. But people aren't seeing results in it because it's not about simply knowing those things. It's about having enough energy to stay so orgasmically blissful every second of every day that's all you're emitting without a broken concession. You don't want at any point in time that streak to be broken. You want to like every heartbeat, boom, joy, bliss. Boom, love and elegance. Boom, grace and peace. Boom, opulence and euphoria. So every heartbeat beating in that with an unbroken string of that emittance. It takes a lot of energy to be able to do that. Now, from the guide, you get a lot of energy, but nonetheless. Go ahead.
I need to interrupt you. The guide and the Discord community make it so easy. I just need to drop it in there, one voice note from you, and everyone's just making more money, looking better, feeling better, sleeping better.
I had one guy. No, thank you so much. 'Cause I don't want you guys to think like, oh my God, this is so dreadful. Like, no, it's actually, it's the best life you could possibly live. It's so easy, but it takes a lot of energy. But guess what? You have a lot of energy. So I'm comparing that to like their normal state. If you're trying to do this where you are, you're already behind. You don't have the energy to do it. So you need to go through the guide and get all the energy you can to do it. But once you're in it, you have all the energy to do it. So it's actually very easy. But there was a guy in our Discord, Daniel. He's like, hey, Mikey, how did you come to this point to where you have success and all this other stuff? And I gave him a voice memo because that's how I speak with everyone in the Discord. You guys ask me questions, and at the rate that I can, I answer everybody. So I answered Daniel in like a 60-minute long or like 70-minute long voice memo telling him the construct of how to get wealth and success. He listened to that voice memo, and the very next day, within 30 minutes of applying the energy that I shared with him, he landed a deal for over $70,000 in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
He got into the state, he did the thing, and at this time, 30 minutes later, he made the deal, landed the deal, and got $75,000 in 30 minutes. Because it's just about energy. It's not even about money or this or that. It's about the energy that you lock into. So in the Discord, what I try to do, I'm not trying to really answer people's questions or like, oh, here, let me. That's where a lot of people have been programmed, probably conditioned or trained is the best word, trained by other influencers. Okay, I'm the leader. You're going to listen to me. All right, leader, here's my question. Okay, the leader answers the question. That's not what I'm doing. In the Discord community, I get into a specific state and I charge my body up. And then you guys give the prompts that release that charge. It doesn't even matter what I say in the message. It doesn't even matter. Like, yes, it's very coherent. It's very easy to understand and follow. It's very structured. Step 1, step 2, step 3. But the main prerogative of it is the energy that's given out through it. When you just hear this voice memo, you get, like Charles was saying, you get so charged, you just start winning. Because it's not even about what I'm saying. It's about the energy that I'm sharing. I'm sharing the energy of opulence. I'm sharing the energy of power, of expansiveness, of energy itself. And then that translates through audio. You guys are receiving our energy through visuals, through audios. And some of you guys can even feel me. So through this stuff, you absorb everything you're experiencing, and everything you absorb, you become. So in the Discord community, you listen to these audios, you just keep taking it in and in and in and in and in. And all of a sudden you look over and you completely transform. You've transcended into a different type of being to where everything you're doing has just won for the past 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. There's been people who they could never follow a program. And this is not a program. I'm not saying this is a program at all, but these people can never follow a program. They can never be more consistent than a week, maybe 6 weeks at the most. But now people are doing the guide, and we've had people in there for doing it over a year, over 2 years and stuff like that. And it's because they're just living off this energy. They're not even trying. They're what they couldn't even sustain for a week before in their prior life. And they're now doing this for over a year, and they have more energy now. It's effortless. It's easier now than it's ever been because you're living off the energy that you're absorbing. So if you're listening to negativity or like depressing stuff or contracting stuff, you take that energy in, then you become the depression. You become the contraction. But whenever you hear this energy of true awareness, success, wealth, euphoria, affluence, all these other things, then all of a sudden you take the energy in, and this is what you become. You eat too many carrots, you turn orange. You eat too many blueberries, you have a hue of blue. Whatever you consume, whatever you absorb, you become. So in the Discord, I give all these voice memos in there for people to absorb. And it's not even what I say, but it's just the energy that it is. And when you get inside of you, it takes effect automatically. The people's like, well, how long does it take for the guide to work? Instantaneously. The moment you absorb it, the moment you see the words, read the words, or even hear the voice memos from the Discord, it instantly starts taking effect in your life. And it puts you back in that state. There we are. Cool. What's up, Charles?
We lost you for a few seconds. You went a little bit choppy there, brother. Yeah, you went a little bit choppy there. So I'm thinking maybe the last 30 seconds where you mentioned like we become what we absorb. And in the Discord community, there is so much love, there's so much charge, there's so much power, so much wisdom, so much energy. And we all know that you're the sum total of who you surround yourself with. And I think in the Discord community, there's like, 80 of us now, everyone living the highest way, everyone having access to this winning energy of opulence and progressive prosperity. So yeah, I think if you can continue on that, on the maybe even the metaphysics of that, the absorption and the expression of energy, and then get to the self-love part after that and why people self-sabotage.
So totally, like you're saying exactly, we are what we absorb. So if you eat a lot of carrots, you end up turning orange. If you eat a lot of blueberries, you have a hue of blue to your skin, or like a tint. So whenever you intake this type of energy, you become that by default. You are transcendental in a sense. You are, I guess transcendental would be the right, not transhumanism or something like that, but you end up transforming into a whole different type of being. So like, yes, I have a heart, I have liver and lungs and kidneys and everything else. But when you engage in this energy, it transforms you into something more than just a human. Like, yeah, I'm a human, but at the same time, it's like I don't live your normal, average, day-to-day human life because of the energy I've absorbed over time. That's what you're supposed to do through this reality. You're supposed to go and traverse through all the earth, absorbing different types of energy. And whenever you do, those things are installed inside of you. So almost like Mega Man. Like Mega Man, whenever he defeats an enemy, he touches them and he absorbs their power. When you go through life, it doesn't matter whatever state you're in or whatever situation you're in, you're going to absorb the energy. So if you've lived in a crack house or something like that, you're going to absorb crack house energy. And like it, people are products of nature and nurture. So they are the expression of the environment that they have absorbed more often. Now people can get out of that. There are like, hero stories or like beautiful stories of people getting out of those types of situations, but nonetheless, they have to put themselves in a different situation to get out of that. So whatever you're in and whatever you're doing, you're going to absorb the energy of it. So that's why with a Discord, what I do is I get all the energy I possibly can, and I just put it all in there, and then people can absorb it and take it in, and they're having the same results. They're landing $75,000 deals. There's a dude who started a business because he had so much energy from the guide. He's like 58 years old. He had so much energy from the guide that he started a business, and within his first, I believe, 30 days had landed over $1 million in contracts on his own business that he just started because he had so much energy going out as a near 60-year-old man. So it's very powerful stuff. It's unlike anything else you ever heard or seen or experienced because this is not a mimicry or just like a copying of someone else. Okay, well, here's my course, bro. Here's what I do. It has nothing to do with any of that stuff. It's simply like this is a place of energy, like a power plant. A power plant is a place of energy. A fire is a place of warmth. The Discord is a place where energy is contained, and you extract it, you become that very thing that you've absorbed, and that's what it is.
Yeah, beautiful. And that's exactly how I experience it. I mean, I can listen to Tone's voice note, for example. I listened to that voice note, and the next week, I got so many opportunities that I had to stop turning them down.
Exactly. 100%. So you become, and it's not even you're trying to manifest opportunity. I'm trying to manifest favor. I'm trying to do something. It's just you so are. And one thing is it's so rare to experience that in the world. Everybody notices. It doesn't matter where I go. I'm currently in Nepal right now, right? But it doesn't matter if I'm in Asia or if I'm in South America or even back in the US. People look and stare at me and they notice me. A lot of people ask me to take a picture. Some people will like, I had one lady ask me, a couple people actually asked me for my autograph. I'm not even famous, but you're just radiating this energy that people want to connect with it because you're the closest source of life they know. Everybody only wants life. That's what all this is. That's why people are attractive and other people aren't. The more alive you are, the more attractive you are. The more that you emit energy, the more people trust you, the more they want to work with you, more they want to be around you. I have people, though, I'll invite them over to hang out. And because there's so much energy charged in this house, even more than that's in the Discord, people won't want to leave. Like it'll be like 2:00 in the morning, and I'm like, I gotta kick people out. I'm like, bro, okay, like I'm gonna sleep now. I just want some alone time because there's so much energy here, and it's so rare out there in the world. It gives you the sleight of edge. You have the advantage because you have what no one else is emitting, which is life itself. So the person who looks alive is actually what we're attracted to. So that's why dudes are attracted to women who, they say, women who aren't, and this is nothing against women. This is no stab against them. It's just biology, right? Dudes are attracted to women who are more on the youthful side, while women are attracted to dudes who are more on the strong side, like muscles or whatever. Now, of course, there are outliers and stuff like that. Women are attracted to dudes who are not as strong, and that's totally fine. And there are dudes who are attracted to women who are older. That's totally cool. I'm not negating any of that stuff. But what I am saying is, for the most part, if you put two women side by side and one is, 20 years older and one is 20 years younger in the sense, usually the dudes will be more attracted to that one. So you see them on the cover of Vogue, Victoria's Secret, yada, yada, yada. And even if they don't look that young, they will airbrush them to look more young. And it's not that they're looking younger. It's not that the men are attracted to them because they look younger. It's because that they are closer to life than they are to death. Usually by default, younger people will be more closer to life than they are to death. When the person is unaware, as they grow older in age, that unawareness leads them closer to death. So you can actually have a person like Sasha. Her birthday was like 3-4 days ago, something like that, and she's 40. Okay, she's older than me, right? She's my elder. She's my senior, right? And when we go out, people will think she's like 18 or 20. Because like we have harbored such an environment of life itself that we have slowed down and even reversed a lot of aging. And that's what people are actually attracted to. The guy who is strong, he has a lot of vitality inside of him, and that's what makes him grow. That's why women are. It's not that they see security in the guy. That's not even that psychological thing. It's more of a. I would even say like a biological thing, because the bigger the guy is, the more energy he has to do something, to accomplish. That's why they can believe in them more so often. Same thing with a woman. When she looks younger or has a vibrance of a younger, she seems more fertile. We're just attracted to life. I don't know anyone who's ever gone to the hospital, into the cancer ward, and be like, man, look at all these hot girls in here. Let me go. I'm gonna go pick up some chicks at the cancer ward. Maybe a nurse, but like not the patient, not the cancer patient. Because whenever it's closer to death, we're not drawn to that. We're drawn to life. So when you guys have more life inside of you, people just want to be with you. They want to give you opportunities. That's why I say manifestation's stupid. Like if you're trying to manifest something, like you don't have to in this life. Because like Charles is saying, you have so many opportunities coming to you. I have podcasts every single day of the week. I have people always approach. I have, new girls in my DMs. I have new opportunity. People like, hey, I have government officials saying, hey, come to our party, come to our gala, come to like so many invites. Hey, come. I have people at podcasts where like 6 million, 12 million subscribers and stuff like that. Hey, come on my podcast, do this stuff, but come out, fly out to America. But I'm like, I'm traveling, bro. But people just want life. And when you have life, you don't have to manifest because you have so many options. Now it's your choice. You get to pick. It's a good life.
Yes. Mikey, you speaking about life. I heard that word come up now a few times. Obviously, being on the guide, being in the Discord community, it's all about life, right? Now, I love using scriptures because there's so much wisdom in there, and I think people don't understand it. There's a scripture that says, I lay before you life and death. Like Morpheus. Yeah, Deuteronomy. Do you want to see how deep the rabbit hole goes, or do you want to stay in the illusion, right? So why do people choose death? And how? And give us a few examples, because I know I chose death for so many times by what I put in my body, by what I give my attention to. Can you go a little bit deeper on that, on why people chooses death?
Totally, yeah, gladly. Now here, like the main thing of why people choose death, right? You're saying Deuteronomy. I believe it's chapter 20, verse whatever. But God's like, hey, I said before you life and death, and He even goes on to say, hey, choose life. Yeah, exactly, 100%. Life is way better, man. Like it is awesome. Okay, I'm here to tell you. It doesn't matter your background, your age, your ethnicity, who you are, where you were born from, how much money you have, your looks, your aesthetics, your weight. None of that matters. Life is good for everybody, and all of us have access to heaven on earth if we can consciously embrace it. You have to consciously embrace it. The key is the consciousness, all right? But if your consciousness is turned off, you're most likely going to default to choosing death for the first reason here. One, you probably don't even know it. That's usually the reason why a lot of people choose death. Because they don't know. There's another scripture in Romans. I think it's chapter 2. Maybe it's not. But like in Romans, it talks about how would they know unless they're told? How would they be told unless someone's sent out? So it's like you don't learn this in school. There's people who have been in the Discord community who's like 66 years old, and they're like, for the first time in my life, I've been told how to properly brush my teeth. For the first time in my life, I've been told how to actually poop and defecate or pass stool in the toilet. you know? So people have gone 60 plus years and no one's ever told them this stuff. Well, why would they? What do other people benefit from knowing this stuff? If you stay in the dark, if you stay unaware, then guess what? Those are the easiest people to control. When you need my life or you need this or that, then you'll always be under my control. But if you know how to have life yourself, if you know how to emit life, then guess what? Then those people lose that leverage point. One of the biggest rules in business is don't lose your leverage. Like be able to have the power stance and stuff like that. So with the guide, that's what it's teaching people, is to have the power within themselves, to where they have self-reliance, but it's not independence. It's interdependence, to where everyone can coincide with each other. So the main reason why a lot of people choose death is because there's a whole system out there that's depending on them being stupid and unaware. If you don't know how to restructure your face, you're going to need plastic surgery. If you don't know how to regenerate your body, you're going to need surgery or pharmaceutical intervention. If you don't know how to shine and glow from your skin, you're going to need the latest skincare regimen or routine or oils or serums or creams or whatever. So when you don't know how to do certain things, you're going to need a gym membership. Everything I just said, the pharmaceutical industry, the makeup industry, the fitness industry. I don't know what the total of those, but I'm pretty sure it's close to $100 billion, if not more. Just those three industries alone. This probably way more than $100 billion, but nonetheless, if people knew how to be self-sufficient in those three things, that's $100 billion. And that's growing too, because more people are starting to use makeup, more people are getting into fitness, more people are getting into supplementation and stuff like that. That's $100 billion industry and growing, completely wiped out. What's the point of letting people know this stuff? So the main reason why people choose death is because no one's speaking life. Even in the coherence industry, even in the anti-aging industry. Again, I say this all the time, but nothing against him. But Brian Johnson, his slogan isn't about life; it's about not dying. So he's still focusing on death. A lot of these meditation things is focused on impermanence. Like, okay, you're going to die one day. It's always focused towards death. And one of the main questions I get is, and even religions, a lot of religions like, hey, bro, what about when you die? You don't want to go to hell, do you? It's always about death. So whatever you focus on is what you end up going towards. Like when you're driving a motorcycle, I used to have a CBR. When you're driving a motorcycle, wherever you're looking is where you're going. So if the road's in front of me, but I'm looking this way, I will end up veering off and going into the ditch. And life is the same way. If you're looking at death or you're looking at any of this stuff, you're going to end up heading there. Most of these industries are not focused on life. They're focused on substitutes. They're trying to create artificial mechanisms to appear more lively, like makeup or plastic surgery, pharmaceuticals, all this other stuff. So it's a false life. It's a false light. It's an artificial fabrication, because they're trying to mimic what's real by being fake. The makeup is fake. Plastic surgery is fake. All this stuff is, pharmaceuticals are fake. And they're just trying to mimic what life actually is. That's what anything is. That's why people take pills, because they want to live. That's why people get surgery, because they want to live. That's why people get plastic surgery, because they want to look alive, because they've had the results of death being expressed in their face, because they keep choosing death. But whenever you start choosing life, even myself, my nose has shrunk in, and it looks like I had rhinoplasty from the way that my nose looked. My brow has gotten more sharp, my jaw and everything else. People, there's an influencer named Clav. I think he spent like $30,000 to get jaw surgery. Well, if he would have known that he can just do this by a specific energy that he goes into, he could have saved $30,000. Guess what? That surgeon would not have gotten that $30,000. Why would the surgeon tell you that? Well, for one, they probably don't know either. So it's consecutive, it's perpetuating. But nonetheless, most people don't even know about this. So how would they be able to choose life? Because again, like we're talking about with a harmonic state, it's not about just getting into it. It passively happens. You have to consciously engage with it, which means it takes a certain amount of energy to even be aware of it. When you have more energy, you are more aware of everything else around you. You don't lose your keys anymore. You don't lose your glasses or whatever. You probably won't even need glasses, but you don't lose anything because your energy field is so expansive. How can anything be lost? But when you have a contractive energetic field, you're losing your glasses, you're forgetting what you were saying and all this other stuff. You live in contraction, which is a contradiction, which means you implode on yourself. Every contradiction cannot stand. So you have to live in not absolutes, but actuality. What is actual? What is here? So the main thing is that. The second thing is this, self-hate. And all self-hate is just ignorance or unawareness of self. When you hate yourself, you're automatically going to choose the more insecure thing. I hate who I am, so let me literally tear my face open and reconstruct my jaw. Let me grind away my bones so my nose is a little bit more pointy because I can't stand the way I look. Whenever you don't know yourself, you hate yourself. And whenever you hate yourself, you will do these crazy, wild, very extreme, insecure things. People taking steroids to get jacked, people getting plastic surgery, Botox. They'll put all these serums and creams inside their skin that lead to like cancer and stuff like that. They'll take these, oh my God, these different things like Ozempic, whatever. Like they will do extremes. That extremity is the rate at which they hate themselves. The more extreme the thing is, the more they hate themselves. Because the moment you know yourself, you can actually start loving yourself. When you love yourself, you don't reach to anything but yourself. You reach inside versus outside. These people are trying to change the outside. But the funny thing is, because I got into this because I developed gynecomastia. I hated that. It was so embarrassing. Like, even though the ladies and stuff like that never cared, like all my girlfriends, all the people I've ever been with, they don't care about that stuff. They love me for me. They've never cared about gynecomastia. But me, I've developed it at 9, and I was so insecure. I remember being in like the 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. I would have poor posture because I was so embarrassed of my chest. I didn't want to get up or walk. I hated switching classes, between classes because I would feel like, I had breasts as a young male, as a boy, even before. This is prepubescent. This is before I even hit puberty. And when I would walk, they would jiggle, and that was embarrassing to me because I knew I'm a boy. I have a penis and stuff like that. Like I shouldn't have breasts. I've seen plenty of women, and I know what's up to know at that age I should not have this. None of the other boys had it or anything like that. So like I hated that, and that was the motivation for a lot of my stuff for the first like 20 years of my life. Like I was going to the gym, I was fasting, I was running just to get rid of tits. I'm like, I don't want this. This is not right. I tried everything. I even went to surgeons, but I just never felt right with it ultimately. So a lot of the action that I did was in self-hate or insecurity. So I did all these extreme things. I'd go on like 7-day fast, and I would starve myself, and I would starve myself, and I'd count calories and all this other stuff. And it wasn't until I just said, actually, I ended up damaging and injuring myself. I injured my elbow and I injured my Achilles. So I couldn't do upper body anymore in the gym because I damaged my elbow, unless I'm just going to do one arm, but I'm going to be like lopsided. And then I damaged my Achilles and I couldn't do legs anymore. I couldn't do squats or anything like that. I couldn't even stand. I couldn't even walk. I was so insecure that I damaged my body. I drove it all the way into the ground to where I was literally incapacitated. I couldn't even move. I was disabled in this sense. I had to like drive a little scooter around whenever I went to the grocery store because I was so injured. Because I hated myself so much. That was my driving force. But I thought like, I'm doing this for health. Yeah, no, I was doing it to get rid of my chest from gynecomastia. But the moment I just accepted myself, I was laying down. I couldn't move. There's nowhere I can go. I'm just there in the bed, like can't walk, can't do push-ups, sit-ups, pull-ups, or anything like that. So I'm like, all right, I accept you, Mikey. I love you. And I start loving myself. And then from loving myself, my gynecomastia pretty much went away for the most part. Like it's reduced probably about 80 to 90%. It was huge before. Now it's just like, yeah, my areolas are bigger, but besides that, it's just like, for the most part, it is gone, for the majority. So it was funny that once I just started embracing myself in love is whenever I got the surgery. Whenever I started embracing myself in love, I got the liposuction. My fat went away. Whenever I started embracing myself in love, my face reconstructed. So it's engaging in that. And that right there, now I don't have to take fat burners. I don't have to have liposuction. I don't have to have rhinoplasty. I don't have to have medical intervention. I don't have to have supplements. I don't have to have a gym membership. I'm literally not paying any industry now from this one thing that I found out. So they have lost a customer in every single field. Why would they tell you that? Why would they want you to know that? No, you need to count your macros. You need to take supplements. You need to take TRT. You need to take peptides. You need to take this because you are just their cash cow and they're milking it. And you're not even a milking cow. You're a bull. So they're milking you for that too. So there's no reason for this to go out there. There's no reason for anybody to know this. Because even for myself, right? The guide costs money to get the guide, if you want the guide. Yep. I did this without buying a guide because I was the one who found this myself. But if a person wants like a quicker route, get the guide. But once you have the guide, you have everything. Once you have the guide, you no longer need a gym membership. You no longer need makeup or this or that. Like you can literally save probably over the course of your life over $100,000 just by getting this one step-by-step guide that's under $200. You could save $100,000 by spending less than $200. And it's just like, where's the money in it? How like because every industry derives from insecurity. The more insecure you are, the more of a consumer you are. So if you stay in the insecure state, which insecurity is just self-hate is just not knowing yourself, like not knowing yourself, then they can continue milking you for the remainder of your life, forever. But the moment you know yourself, now you can shift, now you can change, now you can morph, now you can do this. And it didn't cost you a dime, it just cost you energetic consciousness. So the main reason why people choose death, first one is because they don't know that there's a life out there. Two is because no one's going to tell you about it anyway. And then three, it's familiar and people don't know themselves.
Yeah, beautiful answer. Beautiful answer on
Thanks,
on why people self-sabotage. Mikey, yeah, so I've been doing events for the past 7 years, coaching individuals in personal development space for maybe 10 years. Are you still with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been kind of teaching meditation, teaching advanced mental rehearsal, mindset, visualization. I used to have a brand called the Conscious Wi-Fi. It was quite cool, and I loved it, and people got such benefit from it. And since starting the guide, since joining the community, I've actually started incorporating the principles from the guide in my events. And I've actually created an event called the Harmonic State, which I'm now doing once a month. I'm starting on the 31st of May. And everyone who comes to those events obviously resonate with what happens. So they're going to be introduced to the guide and the Discord community, because I've never shared anyone else's stuff with people. It was always my stuff, my principles, my way of doing. But I haven't come across anything close to the wisdom, the power, the energy, the consciousness that the guide and the community offers. So I'm so excited about these events, because I give people a taste of, what the harmonic state can feel like in a moment. But for them to sustain it, get the guide, get in the community, and let's grow the family. So I'm very excited for that. Have you got anything to share on that? Are you okay with that? I mean, you kind of brought this life to the world, this guide to the world. How do you feel about people just like sharing it? Because I feel more people need this.
Well, first off, it's a very beautiful thing. I'm glad that you shared this, because I had a guy make a song yesterday. It's like
I heard it.
Did you see it? Did you hear it?
Oh, so good.
So there are literally people making songs out of this lifestyle. Like one of our members actually got like a giant poster and posted up on his wall in his house of the guidance results in my life and stuff like that. So like this is affecting families. It's bringing fathers closer to their sons. It's bringing mothers closer to their daughters. It's bringing husbands and wives together. It's challenging some families that like, hey, are we going to choose life? We're going to choose death. But like, it's literally impacting all the world. Now, when I made the guide, here's the main thing. I didn't make the guide to sell. I didn't make the guide for other people. Yeah. I made the guide because I wanted the highest form of life. I saw these different flow states and everything else. And simultaneously, my family, their health was declining, and I could see it in real time. And I'm like, I got to do something, man. Like, I don't want my family to be on medication in the next 10 years. Like, I want to be there for my family. I don't want my family to lose teeth or like have to have their teeth pulled or crowns. I don't want veneers for my family. I want everyone to have their real teeth. I don't want to go to a hair specialist to get some sort of hair implant thing or whatever they're called, hair surgery. I don't want to have digestive issues when I'm older. So I started becoming really, 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 really serious about merging all these things from my family. So I made the guide in love for my lovers, for Sasha and Lay. And then later on in life, like 2 years later, so I already made the guide. And then 2 years later, people, I started going live on just different apps and stuff like that. People would be like, dude, you are so freaking ripped. And it's funny because I'm way more ripped now than I was back then. So it's very crazy to say the least. But people would be like, man, you are so ripped. What do you do? Do you work out? And I'm like, no. They're like, do you take supplements? I'm like, no. They're like, do you do cardio, or is it like calisthenics? I'm like, no. They're like, what do you do? I'm like, well, I have these notes and I just follow my notes. They're like, your notes? I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like my journal. And they're like, can I have it? Like, I'll buy it from you. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. So I started selling it. Then it was just called the PDF. I didn't have a name for it. And then people started buying it. And there were people who were like, they reversed diabetes and PCOS and psoriasis, all these sort of like illnesses, like very hard illnesses started like reversing in people. I'm like, whoa, like I just did this for my family so they don't get sick, but it ended up affecting all these other people. And I'm like, okay. And then people started asking me like, hey, do you have a physical copy of it? Because it was just my notes on my iPhone. Like literally I went to my iPhone and I just made a note of it, Lay, myself, Sasha, and we just made a note of it. And then we were just living from our own note, like literally notes. And then people are like, hey man, if you print this on a book, I'll buy it. I'll buy a physical copy of it. I'm like, man, it took me about a year to finally print an actual hard, paperback hardcover book, because I wasn't trying to get into the business of selling this stuff. I'm like, I'm not trying to sell this, but I did notice if I ever gave it for free, people didn't get healed or anything. It's always the people who are like, dude, I want this, give me. Those were the people who always got healed. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm going to charge for this. That's one of the reasons. But people started like getting more energy. They started coming to a higher state of consciousness. They started having more success, more money and stuff like that. So I never intended for this to be what it is today. And even today, like people are like, man, are you an influencer? Or are you some sort of spiritual guru? I'm like, I'm just a normal dude with a family, dude, who like, I didn't want my family to get sick. So I made some notes and we started living by our notes. And now it's a worldwide phenomenon. We've sold the guide on pretty much every single continent besides Antarctica. So like people from all over the world, multiple countries, tens of countries, nearly hundreds of countries have bought the guide. And it's just crazy to see it blow up to what it is today. So the fact that, you're sharing this, when you share the guide at, seminars, retreats, events and stuff like that, you're not even sharing the guide anymore. You're sharing what life actually is, because that's all I focused on this to be. It was never a sales project. It was never, okay, let me write an ebook so I can get some money on it. I was actually doing other stuff. I had already retired by then. I was doing other stuff to occupy my time. I was actually doing like mukbang with my family, like eating and stuff like that. So whenever people get the guide, it's not that they're so much just sharing me, they're sharing life itself. And that's what life is. And that's what I want people to understand. Like you're not coming into a program, you're coming into the highest form of life. And for myself, I had a vision kind of even before all this stuff, but this thing ushered life into me. And it's just like, throw up on the people in a sense, like be like the sun and just shine on everybody and let them absorb your rays, and then the whole world would come alive. Like afterwards, I saw something like that. So that's kind of what this is. So yeah, if you share it in there, man, gladly. And of course, we have affiliates and stuff like that. So if you ever like want to point people to the guide and stuff like that, more than welcome to. Everybody who approaches the guide has to approach it earnestly and honestly. If anyone ever, because there's certain like frequencies and patterns, and there's certain symbolic structuring of the words in the guide that when people just get it or read it, they automatically have the effect. Because I understand like the frequency realm and stuff like that. So I specifically put the syntax and the structure of sentence in a certain specific way that when those who read it with a pure heart, they get the greatest results. But if everyone ever like stole it or try to, I don't know, get it illegally or something like that, like it doesn't work. And that's why the people before, it wouldn't work for them, because it's not a do I have it or not? It's more of an energetic thing. How do you approach it? Because the energy that you approach the guide in is the key that unlocks the results. And that's when people start becoming superhuman. So I'm honored that you would share it and even point people to the community. It's a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, my partner actually asked me like, can I like, can I see the guy? She didn't, she like initially there was resistance. There was so much resistance, and then she couldn't deny the results. And she asked me for it. No. She said, listen, can I get in on this? So I said, get the guide. There's the link. Because I understand integrity. Integrity is everything. Right. So I said to her, get the guide, because then you're going to get the value from it. You invest, you are sincerely, investing in it. Then only then will you get the benefit, because otherwise you won't. So thank you for adding that. And secondly, the people who come to these events and enjoy it, that means they're a perfect match for this greater level. So I just wanted to add that. So thank you for that blessing of just sharing life. And as life becomes channeled through all of us, just life perpetuates, and it's a beautiful thing. And I've never come across anyone who's channeled life in such a palpable way that it just changes everything for the better. Like you said, it is the highest way of life. There's no denying that. There's a lot of teachers who teach on abundance and blah, 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 but their life doesn't present the evidence of what they teach, and that's what resonated when I started, following you. I was like looking like he looks it, he talks it, and he lives it. You're traveling the world, you're retired at 29, you've got all the success, you look great. When you speak, there's coherence in your heart. So thank you for that, Mikey. Thank you for just being you and just showing all of yourself. I've never seen you wear a shirt because you reveal every single part of you. You reveal your skin. You reveal the receipt of your consciousness. So I've got a question from a friend of mine who's literally just watching, enjoying the live. She's got a question. Her name is Celeste. If you want to give her a shout out.
Yo, Celeste, what's up? Love you so much. Bless you.
They also got the guide already. So she asked, what is your take, Mikey, your take on shaving? And does Sasha and Lay shave?
Will, so that's actually a very popular question. Some of the most popular questions are, hey, do you poop? That's one of the biggest ones. Hey, will the guide work for a woman who doesn't want big muscles? Of course. And then also, do we shave? So shaving is actually very beneficial, especially for your folds in those areas, mainly because the hair helps pull out or extract the sweat and the type of fluids that want to come out of you. If you don't shave, those like in your folds, your armpit, and everything else, that type of fluid that comes out, it's not water, it's just sweat, right? But it's the glymphatic and lymphatic system being expressed out through sebum and water and certain fluid compounds coming out of you. Bacteria feed on that, and whenever it's closer to your skin, you can start to develop things like psoriasis and other stuff like that because it sits on the skin. If it sits on the skin, it can be reabsorbed. But if you don't shave, the hair, when it grows out, it'll actually pull it out further from your skin, so you're not affected by it. And until you wash off, it won't reabsorb back into your skin. So you can shave. Shaving your face and your head, that's different than shaving your folds or your body. So if you're going to shave, yeah, definitely don't cut it all the way down to where it's where there's no hair or that sweat, especially if you wear tight clothes, spandex, yoga pants, which, in the guide we say, hey, if you do wear clothes, wear very loose fitting clothes. But of course, women have to wear panties because, there's all kinds of things going on, in the woman's world. But you do want to wear as loose clothes as possible. And if you do shave, you want to have a little bit of hair there. It doesn't have to be super big. It doesn't have to be like the bush in the outback or something like that. But you just want to make sure that it's not completely shaven, or you can end up absorbing all that stuff back into you. And that's usually what causes a lot of problems for women, reabsorbing the toxic waste back into their body. When a woman wears a tampon or a pad, a lot of times, besides the pad being toxic or the tampon, they keep a lot of that menstrual waste inside of them, and they end up reabsorbing it back into their body, which can lead towards, polycystic ovarian syndrome. It can lead towards infertility. It can lead towards just a more sensitive area down there, so you can have the best pleasure with your mate whenever you guys are coming together. So you want to make sure that everything of you flows out. So if you gotta poop instantly, get it all out, because that poop can be reabsorbed. Pee instantly. If not, your pee gets reabsorbed. Your body is so efficient that if it can't get it out, it won't hurt your bladder or your colon. It'll start just reabsorbing it. And that's where a lot of funks come from, and smells. If you don't excrete it through your colon or your rectum, your body will reabsorb it and it'll come out your armpits or your mouth. And that's why people have crappy breath, because they're literally reabsorbing their poop because it didn't all come out. And guess what? When you have that, bacteria feed on it. When bacteria feed on it, it causes psoriasis and rashes, skin rashes. It also causes cavities and stuff like that, skin pigmentation. So it's really important to know all the functions of your body and how to let it operate and flow as naturally as possible. So for shaving, keep a little bit of hair there is always the best thing.
Thank you for answering that, Mike.
Yeah, totally.
I'm sure the viewers were curious about that.
It's a very common question. Very, very common.
Amazing. Mikey, I've got no pain, no gain culture, right? I've got quite a specific question on that, because I learned, or I think a lot of people learned, that we grow through contraction. We can only expand from a contracted state. I remember this, someone asked this in the Discord, I think it was Renan's or Tone or someone speaking about that, they go through these contractions and dark nights of the soul, and then they grow, and then they go through this. I don't know if you remember that, it was quite recent. But for our audience and for me personally, that belief that we have to contract and experience suffering in life to actually grow. I'd love to hear your take on that, from a strategic perspective and from a metaphysical perspective, because I know you've got some powerful insights on that.
Yeah, totally. So that was Glenn in the family gathering. So like every week, or maybe like bi-weekly, we'll have family gatherings to where everyone from the Discord community can come and ask me questions all simultaneously. Like, hey, this question, Mikey, this question, Mikey. Like interact and just have fun and like get to see, put like a name to a face and get to like see everybody, stuff like that. It's very beautiful. For me, it's kind of like Thanksgiving. So there was a member yesterday talking about having to go through dark times in life, and it made it a lot brighter afterwards and everything else, going through a contracted state or like death or whatever to come out even better. Now, that's true. And it's almost like back to the Bible verse, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you want to believe that you have to go through contractions and to experience the goodness of life, that's true. It'll happen. Like, yeah, for sure. But on the opposite side, if you want to be like me, you can literally just live a euphoric life day after day, every single day, a constant state of expansion, a constant state of bliss and euphoria every single day. It's almost like orgasmic bliss. I like not even sexually. I'm not even saying sexually, but I feel like I'm having a constant peak of an orgasm day after day, moment after moment, second after second, and it feels so full. In life is like, and that's why my face glows, because they say you have the sex glow, stuff like that, right, to the girls, but like even myself, like I feel like I just had this orgasm and my face is always glowing. It's always shining because I'm in that state. When you're in that state, you produce different types of hormones, different types of endorphins, different types of even regulators in your body to do certain functions in your organs. They operate better. They're not in a stressful state. They're in a blissful state. So the thing is, if a person wants to believe they have to go hard, and this is really where propaganda can come in. It doesn't really matter what you do. Whatever you want in life, you're going to experience. And a lot of people don't know that, so they think they're a bystander to life. Like life just happens. This is what happens. No, you got to go through hard times to go through the stuff. But because they believe that, life says, okay, as you wish. There it is. So these people have to go through hard times, contracted states, and stuff like that. And a lot of people may even say, now this is so far from Glenn. I'm not saying Glenn said any of this stuff here, but like that was just the person he was referencing to like yesterday. But this part here is like, well, I didn't want that to happen in my life. I didn't want that car wreck or that thing to be stolen from me or whatever. When a person says that, but they've experienced it, that's where division comes in, unawareness comes in, because you only experience what you actually believe. Not here, not consciously, but subconsciously. You have this core set of beliefs. And I'm not saying it's the exact thing that happened. Like you thought that this person was going to do that and that's going to happen there at this time at night, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes it is that exact. Sometimes it is so specific that that's exactly what you believed. And that's why when you say, I knew it was too good to be true, or I knew this was going to happen. Well, of course it was too good to be true because you believe it. Of course it was going to happen because you believe it. That's what you felt. Not just that you believed it, but you put out the energy of it. Oh, scam or this or that, whatever it's in their life. Oh, man, that person's going to rob or this or that or bad's going to happen or accidents or whatever. Of course. And guess what? It's one mishap after another, after another, after another. And now everything is a justification of what they believe. Now on the opposite end, I believe I only encounter good people. I only encounter love. I only encounter blissful people, loving people, kind people. Now, maybe not on the internet. I actually don't believe on the internet. I believe that there's a lot of sour people on the internet. And I actually believe the more sour the person, the more it confirms the life I'm living. Like these people being sour only makes my life more sweeter. It only my life is, it makes me more grateful for my own life when I see sour people. But as far as who I am in contact with my day-to-day in reality, this is reality. Internet, that's not real. I don't even know. A lot of these things could be bots or whatever, so I don't even care to even go endeavor into that. But in my life, the people who are around me, the sweetest, loving, most beautiful people, everyone's so eager to help. Everyone's so eager to be here. Everyone's so eager to love. Everyone's so eager just to show up and have the best option for me. And I've experienced that consistently for the past, I'd say roughly 5 years of my life. Every day has been a day in heaven for the past 5 years, day after day after day after day after day. Because I'm not saying like, oh, it's too good to be true. When's it going to stop? I'm like, this ain't the best yet. There's better. There's better. There's better. And it keeps getting better and better and better. The Discord has grown. The people have grown. The testimonies have gotten even better and this and that. So like everything in my life, my body has gotten better. I look better. I look more angelic and all this other stuff. I have more success. I have more love. I have more affluence and opulence. So as that person wants to believe, I need to go hard on myself, I need to discipline myself, I need to do all these things, or this won't happen, or this will happen, then they have the very confirmation and the justification in their life for that to happen, and that's what they experience. But they can live in a whole different reality to where they don't have to ever go through that. You don't ever have to use discipline. You don't ever have to use force or willpower or strength or anything like that. But you can live in this specific realm, and when you live in it, every single second of every single moment of every single minute of every single hour of every single day of every single week of every single month of every single year of every single decade of every single century is so blissful. It's like you're already experiencing heaven while you're still alive. So it's a whole life to engage, and I would encourage more people to come on this side. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than force, or nothing against David Goggins, but having to go hard and stuff like that. Like, nah, bro, I like not having shin splints. I like not, having what's the word? Bleed, like internal bleeding. I forgot the term of it. Not etymology, but either way, like internal bleeding, anemia. I like not having anemia occur, like the busting of the capillaries or whatever happened. Nothing against the guy. I think he's amazing. I think this dude kicks butt. But I'm saying like that's his life and he can live it. But there's also this life of heaven over here that I can live and I can engage in. And I suggest people come over here and choose life.
Yeah. And it's so easy, Mike. Yeah. And thank you for confirming and for articulating it once again with such coherence and such clarity, which is why I appreciate you, which is why the Discord community is just something that I actually prayed for years. I prayed for a community of the highest vibrational, like, individuals, and I found it in the Discord. And when I was in the Discord for like a month, 2 months, I realized like, oh my God, I've been praying for this for years. I've been like asking, what would that be like to be in a community of the highest vibrational human beings on this planet? And that is undoubtedly this community. So yeah, anyways, so yeah, and the universe, it's constantly expanding. So why do we need to think that we would need to contract and then expand when the universe is just expanding? It's just getting infinitely more vast and infinitely deeper, which is something that I learned from you, which is quite cool, quite crazy.
And even on that point right there, like our job is to experience the fullness of the universe, and since it's expanding, we have seemingly a never-ending job. The universe is just consciousness. That's it. So the deity, the God, the source, whatever, it's just a conscious being who, through their consciousness, made something called reality. That's all it is. Not like, oh my God, God is so great. Like, it's just consciousness making reality, and it made it expand. So you always have something to do. So the possibility of immortality is more feasible because that's why it's expanding. So we have something to do as we're here. We're not supposed to stay in our hometown or one spot or whatever. We're supposed to expand into the fullness of the universe. Now, to go and fly into space, it may take us, a millennia to get there, to physically do it, not even through rockets, but our abilities. But nonetheless, I believe that the source or consciousness has put so much here to experience because it's supposed to fill our time. Just like Adam in the Garden of Eden, he had to name all the animals. Well, there's a lot of animals, man. Like, think how long it took him to name those. Like, there's billions of different types of just bugs, like this species from that species or whatever, or animals or whatever. So like he's probably spent a long time in the garden before he ever even got Eve. There's always something to do. And that's why I believe immortality is actually feasible, because there's so much in this realm to do.
Mikey, 100%. And I want to touch on genetics, because genetically, according to biology and science, we actually we've got an eternal gene, right? Once again, I'm going to come back to scriptures and then back to genetics, like the sensei, so the master sensei said that, he spoke about eternal life. He didn't speak about afterlife. He spoke about eternal life. And science now shows that our telomeres is not designed to run out and die, right? So let's talk about genetic expression. So upregulating genes for life and eternal life, and down-regulating genes that causes sickness and disease through things like breathing, through posture. The way that we carry ourselves actually brings us to life or kills us, and the way that we breathe. So would you like to, I know you're going to love to go deep on this, so let's have it.
Let's go, bro. That's a great prompt question statement. Dude, you're awesome. Charles, I love you, man. So like you were so right. So if we have things that can extend our telomeres like astragalus or like even just clean air and like not like non-pollutants, is the telomere caps, themselves are only shortening because we keep living in the contracted state. Well, if you just stop living in the contracted state, technically you could live forever. So if we think of an angel in the posture, like you were saying, an angel doesn't come down from heaven like, all right, guys, I'm here to give a message. All right, here we go. No, the angel comes with like valor and glory, with uprightness and erectness, is like, be ye not afraid. And it speaks in that boldness, and the very vibration of what it speaks, which shakes all of its bones to the core. And when your bones are stimulated, you create more stem cells. So whenever you start living in this specific way, the longer you stay in that state, of course you're going to upregulate. Of course you're going to regenerate. Of course you're going to, in a sense, be eternal or be immortal. I don't think Jesus walked around with a slouch. I don't think that Jesus was like, all right, guys, are y'all hungry? Maybe I can crack open some fish or something like that. No, he's like, all right, you guys sit down, divide them up into multitudes. We're going to feed these people today. He went with that. So the very essence of what he spoke with shook him into his life to where man had to kill him because he wouldn't have died either way. So of course in the Bible, it's the Father's plan to kill him, because if not, how else would he die? He ain't going out, bro. He would have lived forever, most likely in a state of like 30 or maybe even 25. So I believe that whenever you enter these higher states, your posture, of course, is erect and aligned. Your telomere caps are just, they're irrelevant at that point, because everything you're doing is of life. So how could you ever be shortened? Because everything you're doing is of life itself. Now, it takes some time to transition into that. For me, I shaved my head now. I was bald here. I had like a big bald spot here, and I didn't have any hair back here, and I had a big bald spot, but my hair is filled back in. It's amazing. I'm the oldest I've ever been, and now I actually have hair filled in, but I still shave it because I have an afro. And that afro is so nappy that when I go to comb it or tame it, it just pulls out of my scalp, and it's just like, it's gnawing. I'm like, oh my God. So back in the day, I would put chemicals in my hair. I'd put relaxers in my hair to straighten my hair so I could just comb it easily and everything else like that. Well, those chemicals ended up getting into my skin and burning my scalp and seeping into my body and inflating my face and doing all the skin pigmentation. It just jacked me up. For me, that was the hardest thing to let go, because I've had a shaven head all of my life. So when you see pictures of me at like 20, 21, I have a shaven head. If you see pictures of me at like 10, I've had a shaven head all of my life. There's 2 times I grew my hair out, and it was just like the afro. I'm like, oh my God, let me shave this thing. But I want to at least try it. So for the first time in my life, I had hair. And at like 22, 23-ish. So I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. So when I came into the guide, one of the hardest things for me to let go was that chemical I'd put on my hair to straighten my head, because I didn't have a long time to have hair in my life, or like long hair, especially straight hair. So like it was that bittersweet thing. But I knew that coming into this life would be so much better on the opposite end. It wouldn't stunt my cognitive functions. It would help expand my mind greater. It wouldn't destroy my skin and burn my scalp like it did and everything else. But that was the very last thing for me to give up. Like at least it was out of the toxins list in the guide. Now, with that being stated, we're coming into the transition. We're coming into the spectrum of living in that angelic state that would cause immortality. It's not like, okay, I'm just immortal right now. No, it's a second by second, moment by moment choice of continuing to choose life. And the more, when you choose life here, now it opens up to what the next thing that you got to choose is. And then it might take some time to jump there and choose that. And it's okay. No judgment, no rush. It's all good. Like, you're alive anyway, so it's okay to have time. Like there's no reason to feel guilty, because that will just contract you anyway. But the moment you choose life here, it's like, oh, you need to choose life here. Okay, cool. Boom, you choose life here. Then you keep choosing it. And then all of a sudden you have this procession of continually choosing life to where you are on the path of immortality, but it's a conscious engagement. It's not passive. It's not just like, okay, I'm going to live until I'm 100. No, you have to live until you're 100. Okay, I want to live until 200. Okay, well then live until 200. Choose life until 200. Choose life right now in this moment. How's this conversation? What are we talking about? How do we feel? Do we have life from this? Do we feel better from this? Do we feel more expansive? Or are we feeling more contracted, down, pessimistic, snarky, bitter? You know, even though bitter, it contracts the face, but life, opulence, wealth, affluence, bitterness, snarkiness, pessimistic. You can't even say those things without scrunching, without contracting. So it just depends on like what state are we going to be in second by second, moment by moment. Okay, when the person cuts you off, are you going to be bitter? Okay, when the person curses you out or says whatever, are you going to be? So you got to continually choose life. Whenever you do that, you look more angelic. You look more erect. Even your voice, for me, myself, even my voice has gotten deeper to where if you put your hand on my back or my chest, you can feel how much resonance there is shaking my body. And that resonance, that shaking, that shaking shakes your bones to the core. When your bones are stimulated like that, they produce more stem cells. So then you are a walking, living machine of life itself. And that's what life is. And that's how we live it.
Yeah, and the guide is like that step by step to just choose life. And every time you choose life, you have more energy. Every time you have more energy, your consciousness opens up so you can see more opportunities to choose more life. So it's this upward spiral. I'm just talking from my experience. Things are just going great. I haven't felt off of the flow state, the harmonic state since being on the guide, since being in the Discord. It's actually being amplified and accelerated. And I'm like, whoa, let me buckle up because things are happening so fast. And I want to come to, you mentioned like the posture, the breath, or the voice and the resonance. I mean, when you share a voice note in the Discord community, it's obvious that your voice carries resonance power because of the effects that it had. You know, you share a voice note and then for the next week, people come, this has changed in my life, more energy, more money, more health, more better relation. Like it's so beautiful because once again, you articulate it with coherence because you live it, you understand it. Now, in terms of someone who's considering joining the guide, but they're not sure. Have you got a message for anyone watching right now? Because I know of an audience in terms of they're looking at this, they're listening to this, but a lot of this might be going over their head. Maybe they're younger, maybe they're stunted by toxins or whatever the reason, right? In layman's terms, have you got a message for someone who this might be quite interesting. Have you got a message for someone watching this right now who's like on the fence, who's like, oh, what is this actually? Go for it.
All right. So like we were saying earlier, like unless you really want the guide, it's not even going to work for you because there's a specific codex and a key in there that when you approach the guide in a certain manner, it has effects, whether you apply it or not. There have been people who truly desired the guide and they got it, but they didn't even apply it and they already saw results. Renee was one of those people. She lost like 10 pounds just from obtaining it and then having possession of it because her heart was pure. Now, in the same sense, if somebody's unsure about the guide, but they want the guide, you're not going to know everything. Like that's not how life works. Like literally you go into things to discover it. And that's how new experiences even happen. If you knew everything about everything, then life would be extremely boring. So coming to the guide, well, what is it? I don't know everything about it. Yeah, like I have been in the guide for 5 years. I'm still learning stuff about the guide. I have been in the guide the longest, more than anybody else. I've applied it more than anybody else. And I've been in the harmonic state longer than anybody else I know, right? So to this day, I've been in the guide for 1,900 and I think 82 days or something like that. 1,980 something days. I am still having new effects happen to me to this day. But if I needed everything explained to me at the very beginning, there's like the whole thing, the last 5 years would have been explanations because every day something new. Every day I'm learning, oh, now I accept this. Okay, now I do that. Now I do these different things. And like, that's the journey. So the guide is not a project. It's not a program. It's not even really a process, but it's the experience of life itself to know yourself. And as you know yourself, life expands. It's the key that unlocks true life within you so you can experience the vibrancy of the colors, the depth of the sense and the aromas, the expansive visual sight, like you can see further. Like one of the reasons that I start the guide, whenever we made it, besides everything else that we shared, was I was losing my vision. I actually got LASIK whenever I was around 22 years old, and by the age of I believe 31, I was already losing my sight again. Like it was so blurry I couldn't read words. Like if there was something on that door back there, like some words, I couldn't even read them. My sight was shot. It was gone. So my health of my family was degrading, my eyesight and like so many other things. But then when I got on the guide, now I can see crystal clear, super far, don't wear corrective lenses, haven't had surgery or anything like that again, and I can see further than what I could then when I had the LASIK surgery when I was 22, and I'm now 37 years old. So I'm older and my eyesight is sharper. And it's like, whoa, and my eyes change colors in that time too. Like, so my eyes are like blue now, blue, gray. Back then they were green and brown. I mean, there's like so many crazy things that happened, but like if I had to understand everything along the way, I would have never have started. So it's not even about, can you stay consistent in the guide? Hey, is the guide for me? Hey, what if I'm vegan? Hey, what if I like meat? Hey, what if I don't want to fast or anything like that? There's literally a segment of the guide for every single person. Do you breathe? Yes. Okay. It's going to talk about breathing. Do you sleep? Yes. It's going to talk about sleeping. Are you a person? Yes. It's going to talk about being a human being and emotions and everything else. So like the guide is it's various different subject matters, probably ranging over 1,000 different things of how to approach life in these manners. And you just apply them at your own rate. You never want to rush it.
Yeah.
I even tell people, I'm like, it may take you 1.5 to 2 years to fulfill the guide. It's not a program.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, here's a 6-week fasting program protocol to get you fasting easily for 7 days, for a week. No, it's literally, hey, when you do this, look at it like this. Hey, when you do that, look at it like this. Hey, when you do that. So it's a whole different like reality upheaval, like it's a reconstruction of how you experience reality, so you can experience in the highest state, so you can have the most success, the most love, the most bliss, and just have the most beautiful life possible. So don't be afraid to start today. And if maybe some people don't even have the money for it, well, guess what? You won't have the money for it if you don't save up. So just start somewhere. Don't feel afraid. Don't feel timid. Don't feel scared. Instead, be bold, be courageous. If the guy doesn't vibe with you, I'm not even trying to sell you. Don't get it. But if you really want the guide and like, hey, I'm interested in it, then just start moving in that direction. You may not get it today, but at least you'll get it someday. But if you never even believe, you won't even start. So you might as well believe.
Yeah, Mikey, I love that. And the way that you answered it is so cool, because you basically say if someone wants life, if someone wants more, like that's the only prerequisite for getting the guide. You don't need to know about consciousness or energy or regeneration. It's just you need just to want more life or want more out of life. And what's beautiful about the guide is, and being in the community, is you might battle with the eating, right? Eating certain things, like you mentioned, vegetarian, vegan, carnivore, whatever. You might be still in one of those things, but you are going to get the energy and awareness from sleeping properly to then see the wisdom in how to eat and reconstruct your body. So you're going to get the energy from one aspect of the guide to follow the next and the next, because everything is these data points that just feeds you in greater capability and awareness to take that next step. So thank you for answering that. For the viewers watching, I hope that's clear for you. And then you mentioned eyesight. So this is quite a personal one for me. And I think actually my 14-year-old, soon to be 15, is actually watching this. He was diagnosed with a degenerative some eye thing, and they're just giving him stronger lenses every year. Yeah. And they basically told him he'll never be able to drive a car and get a license. And I've tried to work with him. Have you got a message for him, if he's watching right now, which I think he is, regarding eyesight and the potential that, you healed your sight? Have you got a message for him?
Yeah, totally. First off, what's his name?
Lee.
Love it. It's right to the point. There's a lot of great Lees. Bruce Lee, Tommy Lee, Lee Dungarees. There's a lot of great Lees out there. Here's the main thing, Lee. Like, Your body wants to live more than you do. Okay. So like that's hands down. When you're asleep, your heart still pumps, your lungs still breathe. Like your whole body is always working to keep you alive. It wants you to live. So as long as you are alive, it's going to do everything it can to regenerate you. Now, here's the thing. Your eyes are a crucial part of living. And if you even have the sight, so like, some people were born blind, misfortune, toxins in their environment, birth defects, all this other stuff, right? That's a tragedy, but there's still beauty in it. But you were born with sight, and you're at least starting ahead of the game to where you can even see. You haven't completely degenerated all the way, but you're still there. You're still kicking, and you're still holding on. I want you to know that there's hope, but the hope is with you loving you and wanting that for you. The main thing is still having hope to believe for yourself, because your body's keeping you alive, and the main thing it needs from you is your support. Like, it can't go on without you. You can do the best it can, but at the same time, like if it doesn't have your support, like it's going to dig a further and further pit for you to fall into. But if you are hopeful, if you are joyful, if you are happy, that starts the process of. And as you're doing those things, you can do the activities from the guide to get your eyesight back. There are certain foods to eat that the guide mentions. There are certain practices to do to sharpen your sight. There are certain states to be in that help you regenerate even faster. The doctors, how could the doctors know anything? Because the doctors are taught what they're taught. Certain things are only going to get worse because they're looking at it from death. They're already planning for people to die. They're already planning for things to get worse. Things don't get better. So even whenever people are on prescriptions and stuff like that, and even surgeries, people don't even get better after surgery. They just start tolerating it more. That's it. So like, okay, if you don't have the surgery, you may die, but if you have the surgery, your life won't be as good as it used to be, but you'll just kind of like sustain and maintain in life. So the doctors are already in a position to see death, and they're only looking through that lens. Nothing against them. I don't think they're bad. I don't hate the medical system. I have nothing against doctors and stuff like that. But how you program the mind is going to determine how they perceive reality. When you perceive the reality of your body's always creating new stem cells, your body wants to live. It doesn't want to just survive, but it wants to thrive. Your body will regenerate. So for myself, I regenerated myself out of my degeneration in my eyesight. I did the same thing for Lay, and there's been many other people in the guide who have restored their eyesight all the way to where they don't even need corrective lenses anymore. And guess what? Your body wants to do that for you. It wants you to see, because seeing is a part of experiencing everything that's here from source. The colors, the vibrancies, the details, the immaculate details and everything. It's funny because whenever you see man, it's very brutalistic. It's very simplistic, modern houses and stuff like that. But when you go into nature and you see the forest as a whole, every tree is a little bit of a different color. Every leaf is different from the other. And you zoom in even on one tree or one plant. Every leaf has a different set of veins, and they have different bugs on them crawling. So like life wants you to see it. So it's going to help you. But the only thing that you need to do is first have hope. Because if you have that, it will show the way for you. And then funny enough, when it shows you the way and you see the way, it will show you the way so you can see the way. It will show you how to see once more, and it will restore that sight for you. It may take a year, 2 years, 3 years, but in those 3 years, you'll look back and you'll say, dang, Lee, I'm glad I did this. Because your future self is thanking you right now for even believing, because you have nothing if you don't have faith. If you don't have belief and faith, a person is poor. I don't care how much money you have or how many women or cars. If you don't have faith, you have nothing. A person who has doubt is already dead. But as long as you have faith in your body that was created by source and everything else, then there's no end to what's possible for you. And I'm telling you, eyesight is so easy to restore. You're already on the path. Your dad knows a lot. So you guys team up, get in the guide, and in no time, you'll start seeing clearer.
Mikey, thank you. That was beautiful. That was heartfelt. And that in itself was a masterclass in life and regeneration. So yeah, thank you so much for that. That was amazing. And I think this thing, whoever watches this a few times is going to absorb so much, because every time you listen to it, you're going to absorb so much more information from this, all your podcasts, all your live streams. And if someone is watching this, this is but a tip of the iceberg of the energy in the community, and you actually get from the guide, so this is like, hey guys, look, it's cool. But if you want jumper cables to your soul, join the guide, join the community. It's the most beautiful, high vibrational, coherent community of people all around the world, where there's just love, just support, and just success, winning energy, right?
100%. Because like that's all it really is. Like it's just love. It's just success. It's just winning. You never have to focus on the negative. You don't have to focus on darkness. Just turn on a light. People are like, oh my God, this is happening and that's happening. That's adding to it. The more people talk about it and push out that negativity and this and that, it doesn't make people happier. You talk about the murder rate of Chicago or this or that, and though it might be a true statistic, you talking about it more is only going to prolong and further it. But when you start talking about love, peace, hope, joy, affluence, opulence, wealth, success, love, that stuff is contagious. So you start spreading that everywhere you go. You become the divine emittance. Let the dead bury the dead. Let those who are already chosen to doubt and fear stay in their fear and their pit of darkness. But you be a bright, shining, exuberant light that brings joy, hope, and peace to the world. Let the pessimistic be pessimistic. Let those who are sharing that negativity share it. Like that's them. You don't have to do it. You can literally bask in goodness every second of every day. Trust me, somebody will be out there spreading negativity. Somebody will say the news of like the darkness and other stuff. It doesn't have to be you. You can partake in goodness and joy in life every single day. And that could be your duty for the rest of your life. And life is calling on you.
Oh, that's beautiful, Mikey. And if you still got time, like a lot of people hear that, they're like, how do I stay positive all the time? You know, it's not possible to, you know, not like experience these negative thought spirals, but, you know, you do phase 1 and 2 meditation in the guide, boom, you're immune. Once you do that long enough and you mastered it, you're not influenced by negative thinking anymore because of the, It's so cool.
100%.
So cool.
It definitely feeds itself. So yeah, we can answer this last little part here and then we'll get to some questions before we go. We'll kind of rapid fire a few of them. So if you guys have any questions, drop them down below for Charles or for myself, or just to say like, hey guys, tuning in, loved it. You can give your like, you know, your comments on like how today's live was. It's definitely different than, you know, our typical lives, but you know, Charles is such an amazing person. Last time we had Kiara on, and I just want to show you people who are winning. Again, there's enough negativity out there. Okay. You need to like latch on with winners. You need to latch on to people who are happy. You need to like hang around with joyous people because that stuff is contagious, and we need more smiles in the world. We need more people lit up and living life. Again, let the dead bury the dead. You don't have to partake in their funerals. You can go out there and truly live and be happy. And that's what we want to share with you guys today. So how do we be so positive? Like, how do we stay in a positive state? How do we stay in this state here? It starts off by first having the desire. You have to want it. And the thing is, if you don't want to be positive, you don't have to lie to yourself. And that's where a lot of people get hung up. They don't want to be positive. Yeah, Mikey, I want to be positive. But whenever I have like a power session with them, right? So sometimes people will like schedule power sessions with me, like one-on-one stuff like that. And like, Mikey, I want this. And then I'll break it down and we'll find out they actually don't want that. Because again, like going back to it, you only get what you actually want. Most people don't know what they actually want. So whenever you first come into all this stuff, you have to be transparent. You have to be real. Like Charles was saying, I don't wear clothes. I expose myself. Yeah, I have shorts on and stuff like that. I cover my parts, but like as much as I can, I'm trying to be transparent, because when you expose yourself, that's when you can regenerate yourself, when you can change. But if you're always covering up and hiding and you have like 1,000 little secrets and all this other stuff, that stuff festers. You know, like politicians, right? I have nothing against them. I think they're great. Thanks for helping the town, city, state, country, whatever you're doing, right? But a lot of them have skeletons in the closet. A lot of them have a lot of secrets they're hiding. Hush, hush, can't talk about it, right? So they button up that button to the top rung and they put that tie on, that noose around their neck, and they start inflating and swelling because they have so much stuff hidden. But when you take off that tie, when you unbutton that button and you just expose yourself, all that stuff deflates. So you have to be transparent. You have to be real. You have to be honest. You have to be true in a sense. You have to be open. You know, I've shared about being touched whenever I was younger. I share my lovers with you guys. I share my life and everything else because that stuff keeps me alive. It keeps me vibrant. But whatever I would hold on to and I don't talk about it, or a secret, that actually swells inside of people and it makes them sick. In the same way, you have to know yourself. Every little nook, every little corner, and you have to expose yourself. I'm not saying you got to go out and tell some random stranger your kinks. I'm not even saying that, but you have to be real enough with yourself to tell yourself the truth, exactly how you feel in every moment, and see where that influence came from. Now, with that, a lot of people, when they would get down to that point, they actually don't want to be positive. They think it's lame or it's not cool or whatever, but that's the start. When you admit that you don't want to be positive, now you start seeing how crappy being negative is. And again, I don't really believe in negative, positive, good or bad, but like just for the choice of words to explain what I'm saying, that when a person just admits, I actually don't want to be positive. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's correct. But when you start voicing this out, you can interpret and with coherence, you can comprehend how you actually think. So you can start monitoring yourself outside of yourself. And in monitoring yourself outside of yourself, you start seeing how you act. And then when you adjust how you act, or you embrace an understanding, you can actually say, "Whoa, I would actually want to be positive now because I see how it's affecting my body, my skin, my life, my energy, my money, my finances, my relationships, and everything else around me." So with that specific embrace, you have to just be honest with yourself. Do you want to be positive? Yes. Okay. What can I be positive about right now? Or do you want to be positive? No. Okay, well, why not? Well, because of this. Oh, okay. Well, that's not really effective, so I don't want to have that belief anymore. You start getting rid of these things. The best way, like Charles was saying, is to, when you join the Discord, I have a specific training sequence of meditations to go into, phase 1 through 4, and they reveal some of the past, even like family lineage ties that have been holding you down, and self-sabotaging things that have been holding on to you, triggering you into a state of self-defeat to where you've been defeated before you even started. So whenever you do these meditations, it reveals these to you. And the moment you can see it for what it is, you can easily get rid of it and change it. The moment you see what's been holding you back and keeping you poor, now that you're aware of it, it's so easy to fix. But these meditations expose them to you. So whenever you jump in, I suggest doing those ASAP. That's one of the most important things about all this. Like, you get the energy from the guide, you get the energy from this life so you can become coherent. So with all the energy you're getting from this new life, you're going into your soul to find out who you are and how you've been holding yourself back, to unleash that power within inside of you, almost like Tony Robbins, unleash the power within. You're unleashing the potential that you have so you can start living this higher level of life. Well, it just takes a lot of energy to do that. So with the energy of the guide, that's what you're doing. You're getting energy to go in and really see yourself for who you are, not judging, not forcing, not trying to put some spirituality on or some 5D terminology or this or that. You're just unbiasedly raw, seeing who you are, what's going on, why do you believe what you believe, so you can start maneuvering and operating with yourself. And once you do that, your life becomes a whole different type of reality. You literally live heaven while the person beside you may be living in hell. And it's available for everyone to come live this life. So that's how you start the process of being positive, in a sense. It's just by being completely and brutally, in the most non-judgmental way, real. Not spiteful, not hateful, like, oh, I'm a real B. I'm going to tell these people off. No, that's still fake. That's still insecurity. That's still anger. But you become real where you're not lying to yourself why you'd even want to tell somebody off. And you may not change that moment. You may still flip out on the person who flipped you off and cut you off or whatever, but at least you become more aware of it. And as you're in the process of becoming aware, that life starts opening up automatically. At that point there in the guide, most of this stuff is automatic. You engage in a harmonic state in this way of consciousness, and these results, like we've been sharing, they happen automatically. Like Charles is getting a bunch of opportunities, right? My muscles have grown automatically. I do not work out. I do not do calisthenics. I do not take supplements or TRT or peptides or anything like that. Automatically, it's been happening. I don't do anything for my skin or put serums or creams or whatever. My skin's glowing. My eyes change colors. My body's bigger. I have a bunch of energy. Same thing for the guys in the Discord community, and even the women. They have had cellulite disappeared. Their teeth have become whiter. Some of their teeth have regenerated, had cracks in their teeth. Their cracks filled in. So this is all passively, that part, because they're finally seeing, because they have enough energy to see what life actually is. So if I had to say anything for you guys, just understand there is a way out there that's not commonly spoken about of what life truly is, and it's available for everybody. So yeah. Yeah, for sure. So if you guys have any questions, you could drop them down real quick, and then we'll check them. If you have a question for Charles, obviously like tag him like, hey Charles, what's up with this? Or for me, you can tag me in it. If you just want to say like, hey, I love being on your live and share like good, pleasant things or whatever, just go ahead and share that. Drop it down below. We'll have about 10 more minutes on my non-existent watch here that I'm looking at, and then we'll call it a day. But thanks everyone for being here. I love you so much. We can always be lively. We never have to be pessimistic or whatever. Even if you're skeptical about something, You don't have to engage in skepticism or being pessimistic. Okay, cool. If the moment you feel skepticism, just move on to something that you don't feel skepticism about. But to stay in the energy of skepticism, like it does you no favors. Okay. So if you guys have any questions, drop them down below, and I'll have Sasha, the beautiful, lovely Sasha, read the questions out for me as you guys drop them down below. Sasha, do you have any questions from the people?
So I see John here is asking, please share how you broke free with finance and retired.
So how I did that, I actually answered that in full in the Discord community. And to give you the sequence and the timeline of how it happened, it's a 70-minute long voice memo. So to try to give this in like 30 seconds or less, it ain't happening, bro. But it was ultimately becoming aware of what I am inside and what's holding me back. Because it was all me. The moment I broke this, like the same week, like I tell the Discord community this, like the moment I understood this, I went from barely being able to like cover rent to hanging out with multimillionaires and billionaires the same week. The moment I went in, I didn't do any extra marketing or like social gatherings or something like that. I just broke, and I didn't even break it. It's not even about breaking. I just became aware of this thing inside of me. And the moment I resolved that, the same week I was hanging out with some of the richest people in my local area and in the world. So if you want that voice memo, it's in the Discord under Money Moves, and I go into detail about how to do that. That and a lot of other voice memos.
And then the Sound Pixie on YT asks, Charles, could you share a bit into how being on the guide and the benefits you've been experiencing from it translates into being a dad to a 2-year-old?
Yeah. Children have a lot of energy, and being on the guide has given me so much energy and such greater capacity and willingness to be present, to play until late, and having more energy also gives you more wisdom, so you can interpret. It's wild. You can not just you interpret reality more coherently and more accurately, so that you can actually respond better. But same with a 2-year-old. Their communication is very energetic and it's very emotional because they don't have the vocabulary yet. So that has given me almost the extra sensory ability to feel what this guy is wanting and how to approach that. So 100%, and with I've got 2 older children as well. And it's without me trying has deepened all of my relationships with my kids, with my partner, my clients, and my friends. It's a great question. Thank you. I love you.
That is so beautiful. So we were actually talking yesterday about kids. It seems as if kids have more energy than adults, but because I had a kid over here, I think like 2 days ago, it was like one of the like maintenance persons for the house or whatever, and he brings his kid over every time he comes over, and like a lot of kids, like I'll make up some games. I have like all these like soccer balls and volleyballs. Like we'll just play games. We'll go around, and usually the kids tire out before I do. So I was sharing with the ladies. It's perceived as if kids have more energy than adults, but that's actually not accurate. Energy is completely depicted upon the container. Kids are a smaller container, so therefore by physics and the law of thermodynamics, technically a kid cannot have more energy than an adult. But what it is kids have more sporadic energy. They have less control over their energy. So they'll throw it all out there super quick, and then guess what? They'll pass out. And then when they're up again, and then they'll pass out. Versus an adult, they're usually like steady with it. They're more resistant. So like, okay, let me answer in this way. And they tire out. But whenever you get on the guide, you understand what your energy pockets are, and you can start deriving from this. So usually myself, I will tire the kid out. The kid will get tired before I do because I understand how to derive those pockets and how to last. So it's not that the kid has more energy than you guys or anything like that. It's just like they are in less control over their energy. So even as Charles, what he's doing, he's even training his child how to appropriately approach energy. So I'm sure he's like, hey, inside voice, this and that, showing him how to direct his energy so the child is more efficient in it. I think that's very, very beautiful. Do we have another one, Sasha?
So Ludo from YT asked, how do you put no resistance to your life so that life can flow through you?
That's awesome. How do you put no resistance to your life so life can flow through you? By understanding how you're blocking yourself and having resistance. So the key in all of this, or the goal, right? Like we're talking about like no goals, is to have not no resistance, but to know how you're resisting yourself. It's just to know. The moment that you know, then you're like, oh, hey, I'm blocking it there. Okay, let me open it. And then that opens and it shows you your next block. There's like this, until you become the supreme deity of this reality, there will always be something blocking you, some doubt, some fear, and you just slowly by slowly, minute by minute, moment by moment, discover and understand yourself, because that's what it takes. It takes conscious awareness and application. So you just find out in your life how you're blocking and how you're resisting yourself. You do that, then it opens up another channel. There's still ways I'm blocking myself to this day, right? So I've been in the guide for 1,980 something days. I'm still finding out new blocks in myself. So you just go down that path and you go down that way. And the way you unblock is just to acknowledge, find out what it is. All right, 3 more and then we're gone.
Okay. Tammy said, after doing the guide for like a week, I had an emotional roller coaster. Is that part of a detox?
It's not necessarily part of a detox, but it is very common in the guide, because you've been holding yourself together for so long, trying to be this thing that the guide tells you to relax. Stop working out. Stop going to the gym. Stop trying to count calories. Stop trying to do all these discipline and these rules. And guess what? When you're not engaged in doing those things that are like distracting you, now you're only left with yourself. And like you start seeing yourself for what you actually are. And a lot of people break down after that. They break down emotionally because they're finally seeing themselves for what they are, but they're sometimes also overwhelmed because they've never given themselves the chance to actually breathe and acknowledge themselves. So that's a very common thing in the guide, which is beautiful. It's part of the knowing yourself process.
And then, of course, we got some really great comments like, you guys need to do this more often, such value. And Kiara said, this is so amazing, guys. You both rock. Thank you.
So I'm going to say this. I'm actually I believe Charles has an affiliate link. So if you guys did want to get the guide, you can actually get it for a discounted rate using his code. We'll put that in here. And is there we'll put it in the description, but like, is there a code for those on the IG right now if they want to like type it in the promo? Winning. So WINNIG. ING. Yeah, ING. So winning. So if you type in winning on the promo code at the very end of the checkout, you get a certain amount off, a discount, and then it also feeds back to Charles and his family and everything else. And this part of being the community. I don't want to be the only one, receiving all this stuff. I like to share the pie. I think Thanksgiving is better than secret dessert. So with all that being stated, you guys can type in winning and use winning. And you too. Did it cut off?
It looks like, but I think we're still live.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool.
Charles is not on.
Okay, no, cool. Yeah. So if you guys want to, y'all can type in winning and we'll put that also in the description below, and then you can get a discount on the guide as well. Awesome, cool.
Amazing. And then Sahil said, bro, do you know about Vedic astrology? And could you share your Discord link? Where at?
So you can find, first off, the Discord. You can find the Discord on the website, theguide.life, or MikeyBreathes, BREATHES, breathes.com, and then the drop-down menu, the Discord, and you can sign up for whatever membership you want. If you get the annual membership, you get the guide for free, and you get the meal plan as well, along with the community, voice notes from me and everything else. Or if you just want to do month to month, you can sign up for the monthly and you still get all the benefits, but you don't get the guide. So either way, you can find that on MikeyBreathes.com, drop down Discord tab. And do I know about Vedic astrology? Specifically, Vedic astrology, I'm not familiar with, but like Ayurveda and stuff like that, Vedic tradition, stuff like that, I'm a little bit more prone to, but I'm not super immense in that type of life. It's because the moment we put a title, okay, this is Chinese medicine, right? Or this is traditional Chinese medicine. This is Ayurveda. We start getting into the contraction of that field. Everything I'm telling you here is just be aware. When you're aware of what you are, you don't need to name a title or any certain thing, because you just become present and engaged with the moment. And that's where all this life comes from. Constant engagement, because you can be distracted by researching Vedic traditions or traditional Chinese medicine. I'm not saying don't study. I'm not saying it's bad to, but what I'm saying is it's not about anything that you do. Because I even saw one of the comments was like, hey, Mikey, how's your phone time? Is the phone a distraction? I'm actually on my phone quite a bit because I'm responding to comments and all the other stuff, but it's not about the phone, not the phone. Is about being presently engaged and active in every single moment. Whenever you do that, life comes for you. All right, cool. So we'll ask one more question here, and then after that, we will go. So if you guys want to say anything to Charles, so Kiara was saying like, "Yo, this is amazing. You guys said that we should do this again." Whenever Charles has the time to come back, we'll definitely do this. I might do this like twice a week. So last time we had Kiara, this time we had Charles. So anybody else who wants to hop on from my Discord community specifically, they have a chance to hop on and in a sense kind of interview or have some questions. This is a little similar to a power session. So a power session is usually a one-on-one, and the person will say, "Hey, this is my life story. This is what's going on. Mikey, how can I go to the next level?" So we'll break it open. But this is kind of more of like a power session mixed with like an interview mixed with a podcast. And if you guys want to hop on, just join the Discord, and then you can sign up to hop on one of these. And if you have an affiliate code too, we'll always put that to like share in the wealth with everybody else. And you can ask me whatever questions you guys want. Some people ask, like Kiara asked me about polyamory. I did not expect that. And then Charles came, with his kid. He's like, "Hey, yo, my son wants his vision restored. Like, hey, let me know about that." So whatever questions you may have, you can hop on, you can ask and stuff like that. So if you want that, you want to be on or want Charles back, you guys just comment for Charles, or you can hop in the Discord and you can sign up to be next in line to be on one of these types of interviews. All right, Sash, last question. What are we ending with?
Awesome. So we have Pain to Power. Hey guys, Ruben here. I'm a student of Charles. Mikey, you mentioned in the guide washing hands if you touch the bottom of your shoe or touch something dirty, etc. What do you use when not at home?
That is a great question. And hey, yo, Charles, I love that your students and your community are here too. Like, hey, I love you guys. You guys are family to me. Charles is an amazing man with great energy. So, if you're a student, I know that you are in good hands. He's an amazing man. And he's from the first day that I've interacted with him, he has shown nothing but excellent energy from day one. So like, you guys have a great person helping you and just sharing life with you. But as far as what do I use when I'm not at home? First off, I don't wear shoes. So like there's not much I have to touch on my life. Like Charles was saying, when you have more energy, you can become more wise, right? But if you're not in that energetic state, it's hard. I've seen people wear shoes in the house or touch the bottom of their shoes and then scratch their nose, just do things that they weren't aware of. And it's not that they're just gross people. I'm not even saying that's gross, but I'm saying they're just unaware. Like, yo, bro, you walked in the bathroom. You're a guy. We all know how dirty guys' bathroom is. Maybe women don't, but dude, like, let me tell you, ladies, guys do not respect the bathroom. Everything's wet. Everything stinks. Like, I go in there, I hold my breath. Okay, if I go in the bathroom, I take a big breath before I even get close to the door because it starts coming out of the door. I'm like, oh, I don't want this, man. I don't want this inside of me. So for a person to walk in the bathroom with their shoes, and they've had these shoes for like over a year, how many bathrooms, urinals, and all this other stuff, gas station bathrooms, all the stuff that you've walked in, and that bacteria is just like living on the bottom of your shoe, the filth. When you get this stuff inside of you, yeah, it could be hormesis and you could grow from it and stuff like that, but like, it's still dirty AF. Why put yourself through that position if you don't have to? When you have energy, you have the coherence to understand, don't wear shoes in the house, bro. Don't touch your face after you just touch the bottom of your sneakers. And really, don't even wear sneakers. So for myself, if I'm out and about, like today, I actually picked up an oxygen machine. So I'm going to be breathing some pure oxygen here soon after this. Whole different interview. We'll talk about that later. But I had to go use the bathroom, and the bathroom's dirty, and even the sink handle's dirty. I'll just use water. That's my main. I try to get paper towels and touch everything. I'll just use water. And if I really get something super dirty on me that's just disgusting, we have soap, and we actually carry soap with us. So Sasha is our soap person, and this girl loves soap. So if her birthday was like 3 days ago. So if you ever want to get Sasha a gift, get her some organic, non-lye, non-sapphire, or sunflower seed oil soap, and she will love you forever. That girl loves her soap, okay? But she'll usually carry some soap with her, or we'll have some tea tree extract, or whatever, essential oils, and we can use that. But usually, I don't even put myself in that situation to have to do that in the first place. Like I was saying earlier, usually I can see like kind of steps ahead, and I can see where I'm going, and I won't even drink something if I know I'm about to go out, so I don't have to even use the bathroom in the first place. So it all kind of coincides like that. But great question. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. We're going to be uploading this to YouTube later on. So if you're on YouTube, drop a comment of your favorite topic that we talked about? What were some notes from you? And really, guys, if you want more from this, I know this is kind of late to say this. I'm going to start saying this in the beginning. Take notes during these things. That's one thing I share with my Discord community. If you really want to retain something, write it down. I'm not saying you have to go back to it. I'm not saying you have to revisit it or study it, but the moment you write it down, it becomes more established in your mind. That's a more of an anchor point to remember these things. So they start happening by default naturally. So even at the end of this video, if you want, you can go back, watch it again, take notes, drop them in the comments, and share your notes with the community. Let us know what you learned. What was your favorite part? What do you want to hear more of? What did you like about Charles? What do you like about myself? And of course, if you want to hear more stuff like this, subscribe, turn on notifications, so that way when we do go live, notifications on Instagram, notification on YouTube, so when we go live, you could be here live in the audience. We'll answer your questions the best as possible. And until then, I love you all. May you have an amazingly blessed day wherever you are in the world. Love you guys. And Charles, thank you so much for being here.